Welcome to the show, everybody! Welcome, my sweet and miserable guests, to the most unique, funniest, and scariest show on TV!
Oh, no!
Are you a millennial, an 80s kid, or just a fan of the kind of horror that hapless groups of teenagers get into in places they really shouldn't be? Are you currently taking ibuprofen for your hurting joints? Who, me? Then you'll get sucked into Pink Noise, a brand new psychological horror visual novel where a group of teenagers find the wrong VHS tape. Heavily inspired by the hit series Stranger Things, with mini-games and interactive choices, explore this glorious hand-painted world where the biggest threat is their own personal fears. The fate of each character is in your hands. Choose wisely, or someone will end up dead.
I'm sorry, Ava.
If you like what you see here and want to try the game yourself, Episode 1 is available now on Steam at a discount, but hurry because this sale won't last long. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir du Vide, and today I'm excited to say that this video is sponsored by the developers of Pink Noise. I'm trying to do my intro and there's something peering at me from the closet. Come on now, I'm trying to get this finished here. Stop it. And there's something by the boxes. Aw, man. Now, I may be a big old scaredy cat, but if there's one thing I love, it's a good mystery. Another thing I love, haunted VHS tapes. So let's pop this in and see what happens. Act 1, along shady alleys. Ooh, pretty. Ah, already this is gorgeous. Fall comes to Riverwood with chilling winds, and the first drizzle, a bleak mist obscures the narrow streets, clinging to the rooftops, tangling in the bushes, and swirling around fields. Fog and murky blackness suit the peculiar suburb, nestled amid the forests and mountains. Ah, that's a lovely place for a horror to happen. It's a decaying, quiet place waiting for winter. As the evening wears on, the town is wrapped in a thickening twilight, with only a few streetlights serving as solitary islands of illumination in an ocean of darkness. This sounds so cozy. On one such evening, ordinary and cold, 4 teenagers are strolling around an old park, engrossed in a lively discussion. The first fallen leaves rustle underfoot as the wind reaches the trees, their branches groan at a long, plaintive creak, as if already lamenting the loss of their motley attire. 2 of the teenagers, a tall boy and a fair-haired girl, walk hand in hand. Their friend carefully hops from one paved slab to the next, balancing as though a bottomless chasm might yawn open beneath them. I'm just remembering that my choices will determine whether these characters live or die. No pressure! A quiet, stooping boy in glasses trails behind them, casting glances at the road. Ahead, the street splits in two, then veers sharply out towards a wasteland. Just a half-century before, a tiny school stood there. Now, only a barely discernible foundation and heaps of broken bricks choked by stubborn vines remain to remind them of its erstwhile existence. I'm learning new words every day, erstwhile. Year by year, students have taken that path, carrying with them their thoughts and fears, high hopes and grand dreams, from tough exams and first crushes, to bullies, bonks on the head, or simply yearning to be the star player of a local team. Be it aglow in autumn gold, cloaked in verdant summer green, or blanketed beneath snowdrifts, Riverwood will never forget them, just as they'll never forget their own town and its secrets. The older a place grows, the more mysteries it keeps locked away. One of the girls leaps into the distorted blur of light cast by an old street lamp.
Ain't gonna catch me.
Eva wipes shadowy webs off her cardigan, gossamer threads only she can perceive. She glances at the overgrown bushes, which have long since forgotten the tender care of gardening shears.
No chow time tonight, besties.
The other girl scoffs at her friend's silly gestures.
If Brian was as agile as you, we wouldn't have been stuck in school after dark. The chemistry room's never been so tidy.
She wiggles her fingers to demonstrate, her palms red and wrinkled from the hot water. Ooh.
It's not my fault Mrs. Hopstone didn't save enough teeth to avoid spitting and lisping. Besides, she should have explained it better. The bottle must have been left open.
Ooh.
Actually, she explained just fine, but you still put 3 chlorine tablets in the rubbing alcohol instead of 1. Surprise, surprise, the reaction was extreme.
Ooh, even I know you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, that bang was something else. My left ear's still ringing.
Eva stops, hovering in a faint halo of light, and nods. She's never been reprimanded at school before today. Sure, she would have been way more upset if it hadn't been Brian's fault. But still. Gosh darn it, Brian. It's just another adventure. Something her and her friends will laugh about one day, and a happy memory is worth more than any reprimand, especially when her parents will probably forget it by tomorrow.
All right.
He raises his hands apologetically.
Next time we team up, I won't let you down. I'll put in 2 chlorine tablets.
The group passes a row of houses, as dissimilar to one another as is ever possible in a suburb. Ooh. The time-worn houses' windows glow faintly in sepia tones, as though the light itself has aged and can no longer disperse the deepening darkness. Hey, there better not be nobody peeking in that window over there. There's somebody peeking in that window over there. What you looking at? We're just 4 hapless teens walking down the street on an autumn night. The buildings they pass seem to be contending for the greatest neglect. Every other resident would be considered an eccentric in any other town. For instance, Greybone has leaned on the rusty mower on his front stoop instead of a cane for 2 decades. Ooh. The abandoned duplex across the road still bears the scars of a long-forgotten fire. Oh. Its windows are boarded up. Even during the day, it has a miserable look. The teens keep their distance.
Oh, Miss Harvitz's house.
Is that a bunch of cats? Is that a bunch of scary cats? Are those cats? I don't like the looks of those cats. The gloomy old lady had knitted yet another pear-shaped cat and proudly displayed it on the terrace, thus expanding her ugly army. I tell you what, that's terrifying.
Right, you had a cup of tea together. Did baby Tony apologize?
Once Eva's brother had filched one of the cats and taken it home. Neither of their parents had called any attention to it, so she had to explain herself that taking other people's belongings without permission was wrong.
No, I was the one to apologize. Miss Harvitz didn't say a word. She only gave us a cold stare and sniffed loudly. She scared poor Tony so much that he couldn't fall asleep for half a night.
I haven't met the lady and I'm scared of her.
You have such a giving heart when it comes to your brother. You might be raising a hell of a night. Why in the world would he want to snatch a cat, though?
He was just a little kid. He came, he saw, he took it home.
I mean, little kids, stuffed animal, they're gonna take it. I used to steal roses when I was little. There's no need to tell her friend that Tony had intended to give Eva the cat. Aw. He knew she wanted a pet more than anything in the world. He thought he could cheer her up with at least a toy one. He'd never taken anything that didn't belong to him before, not out of fear of getting caught or punished. He simply found stealing shameful. Tony would sooner give away his breakfast than steal something from someone weaker than him. No doubt that kind of attitude will make school harder for him, but such is his nature. Aww. They're gonna say, "Give me your lunch money," and he's gonna be like, "Here you go. Have a nice meal. Be sure to eat healthy." Contemplating her brother's heart of gold, Eva smiled softly. "I don't want to look closer at the cats!" They pass by Mrs. Harvitz's terrace, curiously eyeing her odd dolls. Twilight makes the cats' silhouettes look eerie. Their pearl button eyes glimmer in the fading light, as if they know secrets that have been buried too long.
If I go crazy one day, I'm gonna definitely buy a nice crib close to the park. The neighbors here match me perfectly.
Yeah, I can't stand this street. It's like it's lost in time and space. How about we head through the square?
No one protests, so she leads them onward, sweeping into the nearest alley. I don't know what's worse, the alley or the cats. A gust of wind burst through the narrow walkway, permeating the air with the stench of raw wooden planks and rotting garbage. The houses in the alley look like they've been copied and pasted. They were likely built at the same time to house factory workers. The only thing that differs is the light in the windows, on or off, making it clear whose shift it was tonight. Better not be nobody peeking through those windows. 2 Christmases before, Brian got beaten up here. Some high school students apparently didn't appreciate his sharp tongue. They shoved him into a snowbank and packed snow under his sweater. But the most humiliating part was a neighbor kicking them all out. She came out onto the doorstep with one of Brian's classmates, a cute but overly chatty girl. By the very next day, the whole school had heard the story about him shaking snow out of his pants and whimpering like a puppy. Ugh. He would have preferred being rolled into a giant snowman and left there like that till spring. Brian adjusts the backpack full of baseball equipment, which has crawled down his shoulder, and walks up to Ashley.
I'm so fed up with this stupid school. All these teachers, homework, tests.
But the year just started.
That only makes me want to study even less. There's nothing worse than coming back to school after summer.
He jumps over a puddle and takes Ashley's hand.
It's
Aww.
like wearing old trainers you've already grown out of. Can't wait for college. When I start working, I'll buy real catcher's gear. Or at least a better glove.
His palms still hurt from Friday's practice session. The equipment donated to their team left much to be desired.
Better buy a slugger straight away. It'll pay off much sooner. Best case scenario, you can be a bouncer at a bar.
Hey, that's something to aspire to. Ashley laughs at his childishness. Brian doesn't get the complexity of the world at all. Brian, I know you hate school, but trust me, it's a lot better than what's going on out here.
Dad says a good job like his is hard to find without higher education.
Ashley grabs her Leo Zodiac pendant. It's a nervous habit, something she does whenever she says something important. It calms her. Write that down. I think that's important.
College is just another place to study.
This world's too cruel. Illness, starvation, school.
That's only a half of it. That's only 1% of it.
I like school, though.
Michael tries to squeeze into the conversation. All along, he's been trailing behind the others, glancing suspiciously at parked pickups as if they might bite. I hope that doesn't happen. Hey, by the way, before we all get started, what are all 4 of you afraid of? I need to know that. He hasn't kept up with his friends since he noticed 2 silhouettes in an old Ford. 1 female, 1 male. Their mutilated faces stared back at him. He could have sworn he heard a hoarse, gurgling whisper. Their garbled words sank into his skin like windshield fragments, making his chest constrict like his ribs were breaking. Every breath pained him like his lungs were pooling with blood. Then a light had flashed over one of the doorsteps, dispersing the blackness. Okay. Suddenly, both seats were empty again, and the strange vision turned into nothing but a local flour mill uniform hanging from a grab handle. Yeah. Michael wipes the sweat off his forehead and listens carefully to his friends. Michael, if you had any kind of psychic sensing abilities, you'd tell me, right?
Of course. I'd love school too if I had your scores, Mikey.
Exactly.
Agreeing, Brian quickly squeezes Ashley's hand.
Maybe I should wear glasses too. Sounds like homework doesn't look so boring through them.
They walk by the Murdochs' front garden and onto a street flooded with pink and blue neon store signs.
You better stop complaining. We only have 3 years of school left. Just imagine. Life's gonna be completely different afterward. We might even lose touch.
To Eva, the idea of moving away feels like teleporting to an unfamiliar planet. So many new people, places, and interesting stories. She hasn't even fully explored Riverwood yet. In her mind, the town's old houses and old residents still harbor so many secrets, enigmatic and dark. In comparison, some unknown huge city feels like a bottomless well, impossible to fully drain. Even if you had 100 years, in a future like that, it would be hard to make time for anything from the past. But she doesn't plan to forget her loved ones forever.
If friendship's real, distance means nothing. My dad calls his friends from other states every single day.
Your dad seems pretty optimistic. She's tempted to add that they mainly have business conversations and argue often, but they don't need to know that. In her mind, her parents are role models that everyone should strive to imitate, not just her and her brother. There isn't a single family in the entire town happier or more close-knit than Ashley's, and that's nothing but the truth. How much you want to bet that Ashley's family has the biggest, darkest secrets?
Well, a couple of cornfields and state borders ain't enough to break you up.
What the hell do Ashley's dad, your love, and cornfields have in common? Look around.
Eva stops and points towards the houses swaying in the darkness.
Is there anything really happening up here? Crunk Jim driving his tractor into a ravine was practically the only breaking news here in 6 months.
Listen, Brian, do not go on about how boring your small town is. It'd be worse if it was in Maine.
Well, adulthood is a real challenge. People grow up, then they start to feel sorry that time flew by so fast, and they want to experience school life again.
All that except the school part. I don't want to go back to school. She pauses, searching for the right words. Quoting someone else is one thing, but will she soon regret those bygone days herself? After all, Eva already recalls her early childhood with nostalgic warmth. Back then, every little thing felt like it was brimming with wonder. Now a doll is no longer a sorceress princess or a traveler from a faraway world. Oh! A toy soldier is just a piece of plastic, and a blanket no longer serves as a battlefield for alien creatures. Making stories up for others is simple, but how are you supposed to fix yourself? Maybe the older you get, the duller and more colorless the world becomes.
It's like going back to a fairy tale you weren't grateful enough for earlier.
They're just nice words, nothing more. Bring adults back to the textbooks, and they'll howl all day. I don't remember any fairy tales where the characters were forced to read Walt Whitman's poetry. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, Michael, what do you think about this? You seeing anything, Michael? Did you see anything weird?
Me neither.
That poster scared me. The friends stroll from one store to the next, looking at the flickering signs. Up close, they no longer seem bright and cheerful. They look rather ramshackle and out of place in the dilapidated suburb.
Let's go home, okay? Dad's on a shift today, but if he comes back to grab a bite to eat and I ain't there...
Brian scratches his neck and sticks out his tongue. Ashley laughs and punches him in the shoulder. Michael, trailing behind everyone, suddenly stops and looks at the only sign that still sparkles as brightly and cheerfully as the day it was hung.
The arcade's open! I doubt there's anyone there this late. We can play S-Fighter.
Oh, S-Fighter! Usually calm and quiet, he now blossoms. Behind his thick glasses, his eyes shine with passion.
Totally! No stupid helpers, suckers, or high school jerks.
The boys lean against the dusty window, as happily as if they're meeting their idols. The girls only snort in irritation. It's alright, girls. In the future, it'll be alright it'll be highly acceptable for girls to be gamers too.
What? Suddenly you're not gonna run back to your crib to avoid Daddy's shellacking?
Shellacking.
I'll risk it. There's always a chance Dad'll kick you in the head. But the chance to throw Hadoukens and not wait in a frickin' line for the game, now that's rare.
It takes so little to make them happy, doesn't it?
This is supposed to be the 80s, I forgot. Are there home consoles yet? Ashley glances at her friend.
Let him play. By the way, did you hear about the arcade machine that appears in the hall by itself?
What? Ashley rolls her eyes. Eva's fantasies and reality have little in common. Her friend refuses to grow up. In her world, even a tattered old shoe might open its jaws and spin some ridiculous yarn, and that's exactly why Ashley adores Eva. She's so incredibly different from Ashley's over-rational parents, and from Ashley too. Yeah, Eva's gonna be the one to encounter strange stuff and be like, it's alright guys, I know how to handle this, I know exactly what to do. With her, getting bored is an impossible mission. Even if they were both locked in an empty basement, Eva would still manage to discover something fascinating there. She'd pull Ashley in and get her into trouble again, and they'd giggle about it later. You kids obviously didn't read the warnings of this game. But Eva doesn't need to know that. It isn't like anyone can stop her anyway.
You start playing and can't stop. The game never ends. It's impossible. But you try over and over again. Forgetting about eating or even going to the bathroom. Over and over again. Not thinking of your parents and friends. Over and over again until...
Until you run out of your allowance, can't afford breakfast, and stay hangry for the rest of the week because you're dumb.
Ha! Well, I mean, she's got a point. Michael peels away from the glass and adjusts his lopsided glasses.
Well, that doesn't sound so scary if you got no allowance to begin with. Want to go in or what?
The ghost doesn't haunt you 'cause you're poor.
Gosh, they're looking at us like dogs staring at a steak.
Ashley waves her hand authoritatively, like she's the boss around here.
It's creepy to go home when it's so dark out. But if you win 100 tickets, me and Eva are gonna pick a prize.
Act 2. It's high time for games. Ooh! The spacious room is somehow stuffy, permeated with the stench of hot plastic, unsuccessfully covered up by pungent berry air fresheners.
Smells like wasted time.
Ha!
As if. This shack smells nothing like school.
That's a good one. The clamor of screensavers and demo walkthroughs melds into a terrible cacophony. No wonder the zoned-out cashier is shielding himself from it with a set of greasy cushioned earphones. Man, I miss good old-fashioned arcades like this. Sigh. The walls are plastered with posters, promotional flyers, and all sorts of paper trash. However, one ad stands out. If you beat a record, you can win tickets and exchange them for prizes. Such generosity was easily explained. With the start of the school year, kids have a bit more cash in their pockets than usual. Although, why you got a whole entire creepy face over there, dude? Why do you have legally distinct Game Boy? There's no one inside except the cashier, yet the floor is peppered with trash, from crumpled soda cans to chocolate bar wrappers. The arcade closes in 30 minutes. Local kids can only hang out here at this hour in the summer. The hall is packed with all sorts of arcade machines, each game's name glowing invitingly. What arcade game was I really good at? Clips of characters deliberately failing to beat different levels flash on the screens over and over.
Okay.
Ooh, Monkey King. The boys start searching for the most interesting game. Ooh! Let's see what we got here. Is that Galaga? I think I was good at that. Lalaga. This was once one of the most famous games. Now this veteran arcade cabinet is only used while the others are busy, or when a couple of truly insane nerds try, and fail, to break the record of someone named Lily the Rat once or twice a month. What's this one? Oh yeah, S-Fighter. The best game the hall has ever seen. Kyu and Ren are frozen on the signboard, ready to jump each other. The floor around the arcade machine is brightly polished, worn down by students' sneakers. Alright, what's Monkey King about? Monkey King, an arcade golden oldie. The game machine is ancient and in poor condition. The sign barely even flickers anymore. One of the buttons is cracked.
It's over here!
Cute. Aww. Temporarily out of order, no cashier cannot fix it? The boys run towards the machine. It hasn't yet been wrecked the way some of its time-worn neighbors have. Even so, the buttons and plastic casing bear scuffs, cracks, and grubby marks left by countless kids' hands. I would be in there with the Lysol and the wipes. Worst of all, instead of some thrilling music, the machine is emitting, only a hoarse wheeze, like an old man struggling to clear his throat and instead pushing a death rattle out of his rusty lungs. Aww.
I need your help. You need to kill me.
I've seen broken arcade machines. I've never heard one. A piece of cardboard with a blood-curdling inscription is stuck on the screen. Temporarily out of order. No cashier cannot fix it.
God, where is your justice?
He has forsaken us.
Who's the god of computer nerds? The monkey holding the barrel?
Brian grumbles something in response, and Michael just shrugs.
A technician's coming, but not till at least next Tuesday. So y'all need to choose some other game. Try Road Blasters. It's the freshest here.
Cashier? Sir? Can I ask you, why do you have an entire face on your counter? Is that a prop? I hope that's a prop. Can I win that? Can I win that and then destroy it, and so that the curse will be lifted? The cashier points at the brand new arcade game displaying a car blowing up and drowning in a fiery pixelated cloud.
Dang it!
Michael's voice trembles. He seldom lets himself betray such emotion, but Brian has his back.
What else have you got, other than cars?
All that and a bag of chips. If you're ranking a top 5 of Pumpkin Man, I'll give you a double prize.
Pumpkin Man? Pumpkin Man. He nods towards the counter.
No one really plays this trash. We've got a real shot at setting a record.
Arcade cat! A gray cat lounging on a chair next to another machine captures the girl's attention. 4 letters shine on her pink collar. Lucy. Oh, hello, Lucy. I will pet upon your fur and hope that you do not scratch me.
So sweet!
Pet the cat. You can pet the game of the year. You can pet the cat. You can pet the cat. Cat petting action! The cat flattens her ears and grumbles.
I bet you $5 she doesn't remember how clean hands with no cheese ball dust on them feel.
Aw, who's in here brushing Lucy?
She kinda looks like the cat Mom was trying to paint last month.
Let me guess. The cat in the painting had mandibles and a pair of tentacles.
I wish. She was just in the background. Mom paints people. You know how it is.
I feel that's also important that her mom does paintings. You know, in horror things, if somebody's a painter, some shenanigans are gonna pop up.
Ah, foreshadowing.
Ashley knows. She wishes she didn't, though. Those paintings are why she prefers inviting Eva over rather than visiting her. Well, one of the reasons, anyway. They'd had a slumber party at Eva's place twice. Both nights, Ashley had been plagued by nightmares. The root cause was a few masterpieces Eva's mind considered her favorites. Compared to those monstrosities, plain old horror movies were practically bright, cheery cartoons. Oh, Pumpkin Man. Wait, who's not in here playing Pumpkin Man? Who is not playing the classic Pumpkin Man? Meanwhile, the boys approach the coin-operated Pumpkin Man machine instead of the usual Mr. or Mrs. Pac-Man. A bright orange pumpkin is flying around tough levels eating licorice candies. Ew. The display sears their eyes with poisonous shades as a bunch of green blots chase the voracious pumpkin.
What you think? Are these ghosts?
Michael peers at the sign.
Here's a hunter shooting the pumpkin with a shotgun.
They're restless hunter's souls then.
Awesome. Let him catch the pumpkin. Then everyone's happy. The hunters are safe in their graves, and we're home.
Brian decisively draws a handful of coins from his pocket and inserts them. Cool. The coins clatter through the machine's metal innards and settle in its stomach. The maze dissolves into pixels and rearranges itself into the first level. Its corridors are speckled with candies, and the ghosts begin darting ravenously around their cage.
Back home? With no prize. I ain't leaving until we empty out the prize counter.
The cashier shudders at the thought.
We close in half an hour.
Yeah, I was about to say, we only got half an hour, guys. Brian winks at Michael.
Then he's gonna have 15 minutes left over to cry over his empty counter.
Ha! I like your determination, Brian. Oh, wait. Wait, do I gotta... Oh, snap, we playing. Oh, snap, we playing.
This time.
I blinked. I think now would be a good time to remember that I'm actually not good at Pac-Man. Left? You're talking all that good stuff, ghosts. And then I chomped you up.
To the left!
What? I'm going. What? Get back here, you.
You got him! We'll beat this level.
No, I don't think so.
This time.
Oh wait, maybe I will beat this. I don't think I've ever beaten Pac. Oh, no.
To the
No,
left.
I'm too young. Oh, wait, maybe I will beat this. No. Don't get me. Don't. Heck. Man, I really messed that up.
Mr. Candy.
I know that. Shut, boys.
To the left.
I'm disappointed in myself. Oh, I thought I could get it.
This time.
I'm sorry, guy, but I've been challenged now.
Mr. Candy.
I do not know the trick of no.
Wrong way.
Whoa. No, you will not. I will not let you get away from me.
Left.
You said left. I should have gone right. We are going to have a happy Halloween with a fat, full pumpkin, and no one can.
Wrong way.
What do you mean wrong way? I'm going the right. Oh.
To the left.
Stop telling me to go left when I need to go right. Stop telling me to zig when I need to zag. You will not.
Looking at the screen hurts. Don't you feel your head swell?
No.
Whew. Alright, I'm not doing any better than that. Claim tickets? All or nothing? Claim tickets, come on, guys. I'm not that good.
It. Give me tickets, you stupid slab of iron.
I'm just remembering how bad at Pac-Man I actually am. The cabinet releases 50 tickets that could be exchanged for an interesting item. Although they'd like to keep playing a bit longer, they've run out of spare change, and Brian would never, ever borrow money from a girl. Michael feels a bit awkward since he's never had any pocket money at all, but a friendly slap on the back snaps him out of his
Good
thoughts.
job, Michael. You played like a beast.
You two did a lot better on this than in chemistry class today. Not sure I could have completed the level where there were more ghosts than candies.
Brian looks around with a self-satisfied smile, but to his disappointment, the girls aren't there to celebrate his triumph. They're just emerging from the bathroom discussing
You
something.
missed something amazing.
Did you land a space shuttle? No? Then I don't see any reason for such delirious joy.
Oh. Brian points at the tickets Michael's holding.
Nah, what we did is way cooler than any shuttle. Let's go. High time we pick a prize.
The cashier isn't around. The only movement in the whole arcade is a decorative bamboo curtain slowly swaying behind the counter. The cashier's headphones are still lying on the lower part of the counter, and a lonesome sausage is rolling around in a jar. All of a sudden, the hall seems empty. Well, we can catch these in tomorrow, guys. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Where did he go?
Don't know.
Brian carefully approaches the counter and raps on the table with his knuckles. They hear shambling behind the bamboo curtain. Someone exhales loudly, and then they all freeze. The game machines start beeping incessantly. Almost forgot what kind of game this was for a second. The signboard lights dim as a devouring darkness creeps into the hall. Eva impatiently examines the counter, the prizes, and the posters tacked up one atop another. Then she shouts.
Hello? Anybody here?
No reply.
Let's bounce. I don't want to wait for this freak.
Sir, I'm going to reach through the screen, and I'm gonna take your shirt. I'm gonna hold you by the scruff of your shirt. I'm gonna take my finger. I'm gonna put it right in your nose. I'm gonna say, "Don't you ever do that again." Throw him back into his bamboo curtains. So I guess that's what that mask is for. That's specifically what that mask is for, isn't it? The cashier takes off his mask and bursts into laughter.
Y'all should see your faces.
We didn't even gasp. What a boring prank.
Yeah, who's scared? I wasn't scared. It was all these high school kids that was scared, not me. The cashier grimaces, as though he's taken a swig of lemon juice.
Critics. Alright, pick a prize. I see y'all got plenty of tickets.
Ooh. Let's see. Slinky, classic toy. Game pod. Do we have enough of that? What is that? Baseball cards? Ooh. I think these kids would like an 8-ball. I think these kids would like, is that a magic 8-ball? Yeah, I think these kids could do with a magic 8-ball. Magic ball. 50 winning tickets. A magic ball. Ashley would love this toy, as she believes in fortune-telling and horoscopes. Yeah, I think she'd like that. What does it say about the game pod? A game pod? Ooh. 10,000 winning tickets. The best prize ever. The boy's wildest dream. Wonder how long you'd have to play to win this many tickets. Well, that's right out. How many tickets do we have? A cube. 35 winning tickets. A good but hard puzzle. Michael loves stuff like that. He'll probably solve it in 15 minutes. Yeah. Who likes a slinky then? A slinky. 20 winning tickets. A red slinky. An American golden oldie. You can perform lots of simple tricks with it. Can you? Eva's promised her younger brother she'll get him one just like this. Aww. Wait, what's this? 1986 Cops Baseball Card Set. 40 winning tickets. The card's price has slumped since everyone rushed to buy them a few years back, hoping to sell them at a profit later, even if they aren't interested in sports. Brian's personal collection is only missing the 1986 and 1984 sets. 2 good years. He'll love this. Aw. Do we have enough for the magic 8-ball? You chose the ball. The predictor. Yeah, if we're in a spooky magical situation, then a good old-fashioned 80s magic 8-ball should do us well. Brian hands the cashier his tickets. He really wants that magic ball. He imagines Ashley's blue eyes lighting up with excitement. She'll beam, grab it, and start shaking answers out of it. Brian knows how sweet and gentle Ashley can be, how even the smallest gifts brighten her day when they come from people she cares about. Oh, are they a thing? Are they an item? Oh, that's so cute! No wonder she kept the whole album of photos Eva took for her. Oh!
We'll take the magic ball.
Booyah! I've always wanted one just like this! Thanks, Brian!
Oh no! I've only known Brian, Ashley, Eva, and Michael for like half an hour. But if anything happens to them, I'm throwing the entire town into a well and then myself. Also, sorry, can I have that mask so I can burn it? She kisses him on the cheek. Brian could hug Michael to death for noticing the arcade on their way home.
Well, if everyone's happy, we can go home now, right?
Eva's dying to get the slinky for her younger brother, who's been collecting them for the last couple of years. But after the chemistry fiasco, Brian needs Ashley to see him as a gentleman, so she'll give him a pass. Oh yeah, I guess I should make up with Eva too.
Wait, I promised y'all a double prize if y'all hit the top 5, didn't I? Here.
As if you weren't suspicious. As if we didn't already read the description about a suspicious VHS tape, and you're just handed it here. Where did you get that face, sir? He holds up an old VHS tape and hands it to them. It doesn't even have a price tag.
What the heck?
Ashley tries to argue, but Eva's already grabbed the cassette and stashed it in her bag. Well, yeah. Act 3. A bad sign. Act 3 being called a bad sign is a bad sign. Most of the signs are already off, submerging the thickets, basements, and narrow alleyways in darkness. It splashes out into the square, engulfing it in blackness. Only a few pickups and locked bicycles are still around, all parked by Marshall Sue's bar. The wind sweeps over the fields. The element that usually toys with the harvested corn now moans forlornly, plunging the suburb into melancholy. Winter will change everything. Stores and bars will be strung with sparkling beads of colorful lights. The snow will smooth the wrinkles and scars of old riverwood. The town will take on a deceptively pretty and cozy facade. As a kid, Michael loved strolling around there during Christmas vacation, munching on hot pies and watching snowflakes fall through the thick windows of a coffee shop. Back then, he never noticed the aging buildings, chipped concrete, or the gloomy people trying to fake a smile. Yeah, I guess snow really does kind of cover everything up. In autumn, however, the suburb's flaws stand out more sharply. It looks unwelcoming, gray, lifeless. No wonder Eva calls it the season of ghosts. Just thinking about it gives him the chills.
Well, we're late. Granny and Grandpa will be upset.
If that's the worst that'll happen, then you may as well stay out a little later.
Don't do that! Didn't you read what this act is called? Don't do that! The magic ball never leaves Ashley's hands. From time to time, she shakes it. The toy is an old model, but its age isn't the main draw anyway. Brian picked the price specifically for Ashley, even though he could have grabbed his beloved baseball cards or rewarded Michael for his help with the game. I mean, we did promise the girls we'd get them something. So it doesn't matter how many answers she gets, or whether the toy is brand new or only costs a few dollars. It's still the best prize of all. Oh, that's so sweet! She'll feel like a true fortune teller all night.
Fat catch, huh?
Totally.
Fat. We need to bring fat with a P back. Eva pulls out the cassette tape and looks it over.
I wonder what's on it.
Eva totally would be the kind to go into abandoned buildings with a camera, or specifically go to garage sales just to get blank cassettes and VHSs just to see what's on them.
Let's ask the ball. Any volunteers? Step right up.
See, this is why I chose the ball. We're gonna ask it something, and it's gonna be creepy and cryptic. And we're gonna be like, oh, that could never happen. That's silly, and the ball is gonna be right. Happy as heck about his choice of prizes, Brian is the first in line to announce a question.
Is the tape just an insane maniac harassing us?
The friends freeze in astonishment.
What are you looking like that for? The ancient cassette looks spooky. Only a complete psycho capable of chopping up people with a butcher knife would toss that in an arcade center.
How did it even get there? Shake the ball? Eh. The words roll around inside the ball, flashing through a tiny window. Finally, the toy reveals the first answer. Cannot predict now. That's ominous.
Now it's our dreamer's turn.
Is the video cursed?
It's gonna be like, yes, totally. And then you shake it again, it's gonna be like, seriously, yes. Throw that thing away. Gulp. Ask again later.
Later when?
Dunno. Maybe after we waste our time watching whatever bullcrap is recorded on that tape, we'll curse it ourselves.
Michael hangs back, doubting he'll be asked to participate. Aww. He doesn't believe the ball can actually predict the future. No silly store-bought trinket has that kind of power. He can probably even figure out the answer's pattern and predict them himself. It's not like we're in some kind of visual novel or anything. Yet, playing along seems more amusing. His friends clearly enjoy bombarding the toy with questions. So what's the point of acting like a buzzkill?
Come on, Mike. The ball doesn't bite.
Will we regret watching the tape?
I've never been so scared to shake a magic 8-ball. Better not tell you now. Reveal your secrets, magic 8-ball. I don't like that you're being so all of these questions, all of these answers have been like, not gonna tell you. It's waiting. The ball's waiting. The ball knows something. Ask your question. Am I going to get any of these characters killed? I gotta write it down. Are we all going to survive the night? Are we going to die? Are we going to die? What do you want from me, magic 8-ball? This would be a grand place to put a jump scare. Are you telling the truth? I don't like that. I don't like... Daisy, help. Daisy, help. Will we survive? You did that on purpose. Ashley giggles and tosses the ball from hand to hand before lightening the mood with some sillier questions.
My turn. Is it that freak cashier's home video of him walking around in a French maid costume?
Yes, definitely. Reply hazy. Try again.
Same question then. Come on, oh spherical one, don't disappoint me.
This would be a phenomenal place to put a jump scare. Reply hazy. Try again. The magic 8-ball is on a salary.
Damn it! Is it jammed?
She shakes again and again. Each time the result is one and the same. Don't you think that's awful suspicious? But Ashley isn't one to give up. The ball isn't broken. The die is still rattling around inside the plastic, but no matter how many times she shakes it, the same phrase keeps appearing.
Well, looks like the best prize at the shack worked just as well as their best arcade machines.
Brian leads his girlfriend by the elbow as she continues shaking the ball. Suddenly, he feels her arm tense up. Ashley freezes, stunned by the last answer.
What happened?
Ashley hastily stows the ball away and starts to fix her hair anxiously. Her eyes dart from one storefront to the next, lingering on nothing. She even reaches for her pendant. Remember that? But her trembling fingers only brush against her jacket. Ashley doesn't usually act like that. She keeps her cool even in the tensest and most awkward situations, always armed with her signature sharp remarks. It takes all of her willpower to regain control.
All good. Thanks again for the gift, Bri.
Ashley! The friends pass through the square towards a scattering of newer houses. This area doesn't have as much junk lying around as the park does. The residents here are relatively wealthy. They reach Ashley's driveway. It boasts a large yard with plenty of space for a treehouse, a pool, and a heated shed. With a touch of pride, Ashley surveys her family's territory. Her parents have invested a lot of time, effort, and money into building their dream house. They always say it makes no sense to give it your all at work but still live in a shack. A person should have everything they want. That's the only way to be truly happy and free from trivial distractions. Her mother is the mistress of their house, and her word is law. She sets a strict schedule everyone has to follow. Dinner is at 6 sharp. No exceptions. But tonight, Ashley is running extremely late. She'll have to make her own dinner and have it cold.
Ash, you have an old VHS player in your shed, don't you?
An old VHS player in the shed? I'm just the fourth friend who's like really an outcast. Like, I don't think we should do that, guys, and nobody listens to me. Ashley perks up. She kept silent since the town square.
Yeah, wanna watch? Dope idea. My magic ball is no use anyway, so we may as well find out for ourselves.
Maybe I should have asked if that tape is cursed. Brian doesn't mind spending a little more time with friends, though he fears his father's wrath. By this time of night, his dad might have just locked the door to teach his son a lesson. He's done it many times before. Yeah, that was done a lot during this time. You shouldn't do that, but it was done. Brian has to spend those nights in the basement, rolling out an old military sleeping bag. Other times, he'd climb the drain pipe up to the attic to keep the spiders company. But he's never dared tell anyone about it, not even Ashley, or about his father's other crass moves for that matter.
Maybe we should leave it till tomorrow, after school.
Michael lives the farthest away. He has a full 20-minute walk ahead. He nods eagerly, hoping Brian will make a lengthy detour to follow the path together.
I gotta go back to my crib too. My oldsters ain't used to me walking around so long. I hope Granny hasn't called the police and demanded a manhunt yet.
But before he can even finish his excuse, Ashley grabs Eva and yanks her towards the shed. After a few steps, she turns around and says,
Whatever. Then we'll watch the recording together. And never ever tell you what we saw.
She knows exactly which strings to pull, so her friends have no chance to bail. Brian sighs and looks at Michael.
Let's join him, buddy. We already spent forever collecting candles with a flying pumpkin. Doesn't get worse than that.
They follow the girls' lead. The boys are unlikely to look back on that night with nostalgia anyway, but what if there's still something funny on the tape? Or at least something interesting enough to make up for Brian's cold, damp night in the basement. At this point, the last thing Ashley wants is to have to walk home alone. She decides not to share her thoughts with her friends. I don't like how intense the music is getting. She doesn't want to get labeled as delusional like Eva, but she could have sworn that she saw something other than mere funny answers in the ball. Something unexpected. Something not meant for a simple toy. An eyeball! Oh, is that all? Oh, okay. Madly, bulging, blinking, bloodshot. Man, I know I should have picked the slinky! The black pupil is still gnawing on Ashley's mind, staining her sanity and making her feel miserable and defenseless. She resolves to throw the ball away as soon as Brian and her other friends leave. Act 4. A comfy place. You can't go from a bad sign to a comfy place and expect me not to be worried. As far as the friends are concerned, Ashley's shed is the best and coziest place in the whole suburb. They spend most of their evenings there in winter, when there's nowhere else to hang out, and a high risk of being targeted by the high schoolers' snowballs. Wait, are they not even in high school? These are like little babies. There's plenty of space for board games and fooling around. They can even be as loud as they like, and Ashley can always bring them snacks or sodas from home. Her father originally planned to turn the place into a man cave, complete with a couch and a big TV. But he's been overwhelmed with work lately, so most of the time the friends are free to use the shed. But that day they aren't alone. Chris, Ashley's older brother, is already inside, lying on a shabby carpet. What you playing? I'm playing a new console. Only as they enter does Ashley remember that Chris is grounded for coming home drunk from a party. He isn't allowed to see his friends for a month, but some of his buddies must have lent him the gaming console, so he won't get too bored at home alone. As the door squeaks open, he swiftly hides a pack of cigarettes under a pillow.
It's just you suckers. I thought Daddy showed up and was about to teach me how to live again. What you doing up here? Baby Ashley decided to show you our true family treasures?
That voice sounds familiar. I don't know if that voice actor is someone I know. The shed is filled with dated furniture, living out its last days and unused equipment covered in dust, plus other miscellaneous items the family are too lazy to get rid of. Ashley's family is rich enough that they don't need to sell all their old junk, so a lot of it has been stuffed into the shed. Hey, you got a scarecrow in here! Oh, punching bag. Punching bag to stiffen up our muscles in case that scarecrow wants to get funny. Chris's battered punching bag. Someone must have thrown hatchets and darts at it. What is that? An archaic Atari Pong console. Wow. Ashley's father played it as a teenager, but the only controller broke long ago, and so did the console itself. Why Scarecrow? The funny Scarecrow from the Bennett's field. Ashley asked Chris to steal it after the Bennett's youngest daughter lost her doll. It was hard to believe, but Eva swore the Scarecrow had moved on its own. Not only are we in a visual novel, we're in a visual novel inspired by 80s horror. We need to get that thing out of here. What was that? Is that a mirror? Any number of these things could be cursed. An antique mirror. Little Ashley loved looking at it and imagining she was a Disney princess. Eva would barely even glance at the mirror. She was 110% convinced that Bloody Mary would come out of it if she wasn't careful. What is that? That's a motorcycle? The old motorcycle. About 3 years ago, before Ashley and Brian started dating, Brian saddled it up and drove into the creek. Ashley burst into laughter, and Brian was banned from visiting Ashley's house. It seems the ban still hasn't been lifted. Chris retrieves the cigarettes and pulls a cigarette out with his teeth. Brian notes the trick so he can try it later. It looks thrilling. He doubts his attempt will look as natural as Chris's did, but it's worth a little practice. Brian, don't you dare! I will slap the cigarette out of your mouth! What if he manages to impress the high schoolers, or the guys from the neighboring town's baseball team? Taunting opponents and getting on their nerves is a time-honored tradition. Taunting is part of the game! Brian imagines himself strolling past them, deftly pulling out a cigarette, then smirking and asking why they sent a team of sissies to the game.
Don't you have to stay in your room and feign remorse?
And what about you? Shouldn't you be catching Z's, not wandering around in the dark? or you want to see who can disappoint our parents the most?
Ha! He exhales a ring of blue smoke. The winner is clear. Shut up!
No. Unlike you, I care about my future. We just want to watch a cassette. Why don't you just go do something else for a bit? We need the TV.
Tell him you got a horribly cursed blank VHS tape. All teenagers or however old he is would love that.
As if. Get out of here, kids.
Actually, he might just be saving all their lives. He turns to the TV and keeps playing. To deceive Chris? To persuade Chris? How are we gonna deceive him? But Ashley isn't going to back down. Her brother is as simple and predictable as an old penny. She won't even break a sweat fooling him. All you really need to know is whose opinion matters more to him than his own, whose personal business he cares about more than video games, what he's afraid of missing out on, what will make him jealous. Ashley's eyes narrow slightly at Chris. Oh, she's about to zing him into the stratosphere.
I'll try the TV for some intel, bro.
Go on.
He's still staring at the screen through the smoke cloud, frantically clicking the controller's buttons.
We stumbled on your cronies out there. Sam and Bobby, right? They were asking if you're still grounded. They were pretty upset that you couldn't keep them company.
Chris throws his sister a wary glance. Sam and Bobby are real douchebags. Rumors of their wicked deeds are always flying around town. Ashley knows Chris is afraid of them, and he'd still do anything to get into their gang. He's constantly schmoozing them with free drinks and cigarettes.
You really think I'm gonna fall for that bull?
Yes.
It's true. I also saw them near the old water tower. They were gonna steal Pam's motorcycle and ride it to the flour mill.
Chris jumps up, nearly burning his fingers on the cigarette.
Why the hell were they going there?
Chris knows his sister can make up any nonsense on the spot if she wants to take advantage of something, but Eva he trusts. She's a good girl. He doubts she'd lie. Good on you, Eva. Good on you. I'm sorry that you have to break his trust like this. He can see right through his little sis. Ashley thinks she's a master manipulator, but her expression is a dead giveaway when she's lying. But Eva is different. They've known each other forever, and she never lies so blatantly. Unless, of course, it comes to stories about the ghosts that haunt the old school, or the mystery... The what? The mysterious drowned man the girls totally met at the lake that one day? Can we not meet that gentleman? Can we not meet them?
Grandpa says truck drivers sometimes sneak bourbon into the factory in gas cans and sell it to the night shift workers. Best bourbon in the state. That's what he says.
I bet they weren't gonna buy it. They were gonna steal it. That would be fun.
No, it's too bad you're stuck here playing video games, Chris. You know, you could be out there having fun, but you know what? I guess you don't like fun. He yanks his sneakers on and rushes for the door. Before he leaves, he glances over his shoulder and sneers.
Watch out, Four Eyes. If you're just trying to ditch me, your ass is gonna be my punching bag next time. Eva, you don't count.
Chris disappears into the night, and Michael wipes the cold sweat from his forehead. Don't worry, Michael, we'll protect you. We'll protect you. I'll throw him in the well for you.
He isn't gonna punch me, is he? Is he, guys?
He's not gonna lay a finger on your curly little head.
It's just Ashley's brother, not some damn high schooler who likes robbing kids.
Ashley doesn't really agree. Chris has changed lately. He used to play sports. He's never smoked or followed complete idiots before. Their parents were proud of his medals and trophies. Their dad claimed any college would accept Chris on an athletic scholarship if he couldn't make it academically, and once he entered college, he would straighten out. But there's nothing left to straighten out anymore. Nobody offers scholarships for partying or hanging around bad company. Chris's boxing gloves are already gathering dust under his bed. His empty shelves and hooks aren't expecting any new awards anytime soon. Aww.
Let's just start, okay?
Oh yeah, the cursed videotape that's gonna curse us all. She glances at the moon. The cassette is not the only reason she wants to hurry up.
Turn it on, Brian.
Brian changes the TV to AV mode and slides the cassette into the VHS player. Static noise dances on the screen, curved and covered in dust. The speakers let out a soft hiss, followed by a squeak.
Hope the tape's not blank. Otherwise, Michael's gonna get beat up for no reason.
Oh, don't say that, Ashley! Michael shivers and glances around, as if Chris might already be creeping up on him, his fists ready to strike. Don't worry, Michael, I'm not gonna let him get you!
It can't be blank. Hurry up and take your seats. We don't want to miss anything.
Did we rewind it at least? Eva settles down against one of the pillows, and her friends follow suit. The TV continues flickering, disrupting the peace of the shed. The wind sweeps out of the fields and descends on the suburb, sneaking through the streets like a wild animal prowling for prey. It shoves the shed, making it sway and creak like a popping joint. Gulp. Their only lamp flickers, casting shadows on the piles of garbage in the corners.
Is there any other light in here?
As if to answer Michael's question, a picture begins to form on the screen. The black and gray static stripes morph into an image, taking on colors and shapes. One part becomes studio walls. Another area changes into the decorated set of a Friday night show. Oh, okay, for a second I thought it was going to be like, LOL, something totally normal. No, it's just a dapper gentleman. The rest turn into the body of a game show host wearing a striped suit jacket. The host is half turned and staring at the camera, as if waiting for a director's signal to start, or trying to see the audience on the other side of the screen.
At least he's not a maniac.
Are you sure about that, Brian?
Don't speak too soon.
Is it TV time? And oh, that's neat. Oh, the subtitles look like the old subtitles that would be on a VHS tape. Ah, that's so neat. An invisible orchestra bursts into music so cacophonous that the players should have been whipped for their miserable performance and never allowed to lay hands on an instrument again. They did their best.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome, my sweet and miserable guests, to the most unique, funniest...
Is it funny? The angle abruptly changes, and the studio suddenly looks less bright and cheerful. The walls have lost their false gloss and bright hues. Half the spotlights go out, and those that remain are only dim. But the host keeps smiling.
To the most unique, funniest, and scariest show on TV.
The friends exchange puzzled glances.
I bet my hand that this is something you've never seen before, and will never see again. Sadly, I've got nothing left to bet. I ate my hand before the show.
Somewhere in the background, canned laughter and applause ring out. The teenagers can certainly believe the host really did devour his hand before the show. His behavior is odd. His speech is too dramatic. He keeps breaking into screams, choking on his cackling. Somehow, he manages to act both insanely cheerful and inappropriately gloomy at the same time, all depending on the angle the producer chooses.
Bullshit. What a waste of time.
Eva's like, hold on. I think this is going somewhere.
No, wait, let's just watch a little longer. I've never heard of this show. How about we give it a chance?
I like the way you think, Eva. Michael and Brian nod, staring intently at the flickering screen. The host, as if waiting for their verdict, steps back from the camera and holds his hands out in an inviting gesture.
So come on, take a seat, the broken and prideful.
I don't like the way the shots change. Stop doing that. The shot changes.
The reserved and those embracing everything new.
The shot changes again.
The brave, cowardly, dependent, and free. Get comfortable. Enjoy.
The screen ripples. The host's voice dwindles, then deepens. It sounds muffled, as if it's emanating from a cellar filled with soil.
Yourself.
Oh no! The picture dissolves into a rippled black and white mess, and a terrible crack bursts out of the speakers.
And that's enough for today.
What if there's more? Who'd spoil a whole cassette to record such a short clip?
Eva gets up from the pillow and goes up to the VHS player to fast forward a bit. Her hand is already outstretched when the beeps speed up. They boom. They boom out bass. Suddenly, the beeps sound subdued. A steady hum emanates from the speakers. Eva freezes, peering at the screen.
How's he doing it?
No one answers. Act 5. Back to the drawing board. Wait! You're not just gonna leave me with that, are you? Okay, so in this next chapter, it gets a little gory, it gets more horror-oriented, it gets pretty gosh darn scary, like really gosh darn scary, but like really well made. So, if you want to stop here, that's okay, because in this next part of the video, there's going to be a lot of blood, there's going to be a lot of player death, but if you like horror, then you're probably going to like this. And if you like this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you like this video. Wait, that's really redundant. The noise pouring out of the speakers absorbs all other sounds, but it isn't hissing, cracking, or howling anymore. It's knocking. At first, it's monotonous, but the knocking soon speeds up. It belts their eardrums like an old alarm clock, mercilessly rattling every morning. Eva shakes her head to drive away a nightmarish vision and rubs her face with her palms. But the knocking is still there. And Eva knows what's making it. You do? It's a branch from the old hazel tree her father has been threatening to cut down for 2 years. Are you sure about that? It must have once again gotten its gnarled fingers caught in the windowsill. It scratches the window every time the wind blows. But today, a true storm is raging outside. The rain lashes the window, covering it in dirty spots as the hurricane-like gusts shake the hazel tree like a school bully shaking down a junior. Confused, Eva checks her bedroom. Everything looks as usual there. The table and the shelves are perfectly arranged, the bed carefully made, even the posters are still hanging in a strict line, as if in an art exhibit. Eva loves it when everything is in place. Whenever her mother is overwhelmed at work, Eva and her father are left responsible for cleaning the house, and the less you litter, the less you have to clean. Oh, okay. A VHS collection. There's a light mystery in the first row. Behind it are the slashers. The third row is reserved for Italian horror movies, marked with the strange word giallo. Okay. And behind everything else, hidden in a Cinderella case, the creepy movie Necromancer is waiting for its time to shine. It's better if her mother doesn't know about that. Okay. The book Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. Eva adored it as a kid. Now she's rereading it for her younger brother. Aww. It's so dark. A family photograph. It was taken the day Eva had gotten her first braces. Tony was tiny back then, and their parents looked happy. Her mother wasn't absorbed in her art career yet. Back then, she cared about her family more than canvases and paints. A Tillandsia flower. Ooh. It looks like it sprang straight out of the pages of a fairy tale. A fan gave it to our mother at an exhibition, and it's growing in a pot Ashley had made during an extracurricular pottery workshop. Ooh. The pot isn't the best, but Eva will never swap it out for another one. Aww. A feather. Their parrot, Sancho, lived for 6 years. His loss was unbearable, so Eva still had one of his feathers as a keepsake. Aww. Yeah, I guess people who keep birds would keep their feathers as little keepsakes. At first, she couldn't handle looking at it. She'd burst into tears every time she saw it. Eva's head shoots up as she hears quiet steps approaching.
Tony?
Her brother is standing by the door, shifting from one foot to the other, and holding a thick cardboard cup with a string snaked through the bottom. The string writhes on the floor and crawls through the hallway. Oh, is that a little cup phone? His long-sleeved shirt with a pink dinosaur was Dad's gift for him from last Christmas. Since then, Tony takes it off only at bedtime and for the laundry. Lately, Eva's brother always looks a little confused, as though he's only wandered into Eva's room by accident after getting lost in his own home. His big eyes hold a strange expression she can't quite explain or describe. No matter how much she talks to him, words are never enough. Even when all of his most important questions are answered, Tony just comes up with new ones.
I fixed her thread. String telephone. Here. Yesterday I could barely hear anything.
Aww. Eva takes the cup and puts it on her nightstand. Aww.
It's time to go to bed, baby. When you're all set, pull the string twice and I'll read some bedtime stories for you.
Oh! She ruffles his hair, and he happily runs back to his bedroom. They often talk to each other before bedtime because Tony isn't used to falling asleep alone. She has to chat with him, weave magical stories, retell movies and comic plots until he starts snoring. That's precious. The string slowly tightens and lifts up from the floor, which means Tony is already in bed and ready to listen. Eva puts the cup to her ear. She heard familiar creaks and rustles from the other side.
Can you hear me, Tony?
Loud and clear. I fell asleep today. By myself. Well, I almost did, but then a huge storm hit. Thunder! And something creaked in the closet, so
He doesn't finish. He's ashamed of his childish behavior, though he does his best to look brave for Eva. But blaming him for his fears would be foolish. Of course kids are scared when a storm is raging and thundering, and thunder is crashing right outside. Me too! Me too, kid. There's nothing childish about that. Especially if their room is dark and windowless. It's easier for Eva. As a child, she learned to befriend her fears. She often left a bowl of milk or a handful of candy out in case a monster was lurking under her bed. Then it's not a monster anymore, but a little buddy rustling candy wrappers in the middle of the night. Tony isn't the same as her, though, and she has to accept that.
Then close your eyes and listen. I made up a new story.
I hope it doesn't have anything to do with VHS tapes. They're surrounded by routine. She wants to calm Tony down the way she used to wish her father sweet dreams, to leave a croissant for her mother in the kitchen so that she'll remember not to drink milk or coffee on an empty stomach.
What's the story about? Is it scary? I don't really want to hear a scary story today.
Me neither, Eva.
No, it's a legend about a magical arcade machine that teleports brave and obedient kids into its world of adventures.
Oh, isekai arcade machine. For some reason, amid the whirlwind of thoughts and images racing through her mind, she chooses an arcade machine, or rather it chooses itself, as if it were alive. It appears in her mind's eye in all of its beauty, the black, oily luster and 2 scarlet buttons. But she can't present it to Tony as is. It needs to be wrapped in something brighter, lighter, and more mysterious. Her baby brother sighs with excitement. Oh!
It must be dangerous there. There are lots of monsters in games.
My siblings are too old for me to read stories to them anymore.
It's an adventure. It wouldn't be an adventure without monsters.
Without warning, someone opens the door. The string falls limp. Eva drops the cup and gasps. Her mother enters the room, tired, disheveled, and soaked in the odor of solvent, paints, and coffee. Perhaps she's worked too long again, and remembered that she missed dinner only after her dizziness and lower back pain reared up. She always complains about that to Eva's father.
Didn't hear you come home. Why are you up so late?
She glances at the cup rolling on the floor. Eva's mother can scarcely understand what her children are up to. What's all the late-night storytelling for? Why can't Tony just go to bed and fall asleep? She's shocked every time one of them outgrows last year's clothes. Even now, surprise lights up her reddened eyes.
Chatting with Tony again? He needs to learn to fall asleep on his own. Tell him to brush his teeth and go to bed right now. At least that will put these toys to good use.
Oh, is Eva a parentified eldest daughter? Oh, I feel your pain.
Of course, Mom. Tony's almost asleep. Oh, today was so long, but cool. We cleaned up the chemistry room, then we went to the arcade center, and then I came back home.
Now, are you leaving out the cursed VHS tape because it was erased from your memory, or because something happened that you don't want to tell us about yet? Eva stops abruptly. Something's missing, something crucial, but she can't remember, and judging by her wandering gaze, her mother still hasn't returned from the world of images, shades, and episodes of other people's lives all captured on canvas.
You know what? You're right. Tony ought to fall asleep without my chatter tonight. Good night, Mom.
She doesn't even get a smile in return. It's as if her mother's emotions have been drained out of her like water from a shattered vase. Perhaps they've settled on her canvases instead, leaving not a single drop for real life. Year after year, her work has devoured her, turning her into a completely different person.
Good night, darling. I think I'm gonna have a cup of milk and go to bed, too.
Don't do it on an empty stomach, Mom!
Mom going to bed? No, not her.
Eva knows her mother will go back to the workshop soon. She won't fall asleep until dawn, completely exhausted, next to her easel. Aww. When her mother closes the door behind her, Eva picks the cardboard phone up and hangs it on the hook her dad screwed into the wall, specifically to hold it. Aww. The cup hardly even touches Eva's hands when the string tightens again.
Tony, go to bed. Mom just came and scolded us for chatting.
You promised me a story about an arcade machine.
Eva suddenly feels so exhausted that she can't fathom making up even the simplest story. Not even another yarn about the brave veggie kingdom she's stuffed his ears with since childhood to teach him to love healthy food. As if she inherited part of her mother's fatigue, Eva's eyes water from drowsiness, and her legs go weak. Eva doesn't want to upset Tony, but it really is late. They should have been in bed long ago, and there's no better weather for curling up under a warm, cozy blanket. But Tony isn't about to let her go that fast. For him, it isn't just rain or lightning outside, it's bloodthirsty creatures lurking beyond the walls, and only Eva's voice can keep their shadows from seeping through the air vents or the cracks in the plaster.
Go to bed, little one. I'll come up with 2 adventures for you tomorrow, I promise.
I'm gonna hold you to that promise, Eva. That's a bedtime story promise. Tony wants to protest, but the offer is too tempting. Sometimes he begs her to make up new stories about his favorite characters, but he mostly listens. 2 whole stories, waiting for him the next night. If we live that long! That feels like a fair trade for one night's peace. Besides, the thunder has already stopped splitting the sky, and now only the rain is rustling softly against the roof and grass outside.
Okay.
Sweet dreams.
She puts the cup away. Her eyelids seem insanely heavy, but strange thoughts still occupy her mind. Not even bothering to put on her pajamas, Eva collapses onto her bed and presses her cheek against the pillow. Today really was long and hard. So much happened. The outburst in chemistry class, cleaning, walking along Riverwood Park with her friends, the shopping square, an arcade center, the guy with the mask, finding the magic 8-ball, nothing else.
But what was next?
There's a blank space in her memory between the arcade center and coming back home. Fragments of phrases, merry, beeping music, a flickering light, and clouding it all, a black and white haze. Her lethargy evaporates. Eva rolls onto her back and stares at the ceiling. Something else definitely happened. But the memory keeps slipping away, getting lost. Something important happened at the arcade center. It's clinging to her and her friends like parasites, stubbornly pulling them into the darkness engulfing Riverwood. Of course, the old town has been keeping the secrets of many generations. The ghosts of the ancient church Eva's grandmother told her about, the cursed coin, the bodies buried in the foundation of the town hall. Pick a curse, Riverwood! But those are all just legends. No evidence of them has ever been found. She just needs to remember how she, Ashley, Brian, and Michael stepped into the arcade center. And then... that was in my left ear. She hears a silent rustle next to her. The makeshift phone is crawling along the nightstand. Eva just manages to catch it before it falls. She quickly presses the cup to her lips.
Tony, you're still awake?
Ow! A sickening, ear-splitting screech is the only response. Astonished, Eva can hardly suppress her scream. That sounds just like the electric timer in the art workshop attic. Her mom set it up so that the jarring sound would distract her from her work every 3 hours. It reminds her that there are other people living in the house who she should spend time with. But why was that shriek next to her baby brother? She doubts Tony took the timer into his room. Tony! Eva hurries into his room to check on him. The bed is empty. Eva throws up her hands. Tony rarely leaves his room at night. Check the closet! He always leaves a cup of water or milk on his nightstand before bed so he won't have to go to the kitchen, and he would have passed Eva's room if he'd gone to the bathroom. If nothing else, she definitely should have heard his footsteps. There's only one other place where Tony and her mom's alarm clock could be at the same time. It isn't something he normally does, but she can't think of a better explanation.
What a silly boy. Why did you go to the workshop? He should know better. He'll have bad dreams if he looks at Mom's paintings.
Oh no, are we gonna look at Mom's paintings? I don't want to look at Mom's paintings. They could influence even an adult's mind so terribly that there's always a nurse on standby at her exhibitions, ready to tend to the most impressionable visitors. Wow, your paintings have to come with a doctor. The thought of what Tony might see there horrifies Eva. She remembers how Ashley tossed and turned, unable to sleep after visiting the workshop during a sleepover, how she had complained about nightmares afterwards. If her brother sees those paintings, she'll be up all night distracting him from anxious thoughts. As for the next day, not even 2 stories will be enough.
Tony, what's up with the radio silence?
Not a single sound comes from the other side of the toy phone. Eva doesn't like it when Mom scolds her, and she likes it even less when the one being scolded is Tony, and her brother is 110% going to be punished for going to Mom's workshop without permission. Can the music please chill for a second? Eva creeps into the hall and peers around carefully. Only now does she notice that the string leads towards the attic entryway. It's hard to discern on the first try, as it's lying right in line with the baseboard. Eva timidly passes her parents' bedroom and hesitates by the stairs leading up to the 2nd floor. Even there, a few of her mom's paintings, unpleasant to look at in the dim light, are hung on the walls. Eva is used to them, but Tony still rushes past the hall, sometimes shutting his eyes. Their father has been planning to take them down or move them somewhere else, but doesn't want to upset his wife. He has no idea how to bring it up, so the image of a woman pressing her palms to her face is still staring into the corridor with white eyes. A black silhouette flits on the left side of the stairs. I don't like that. I don't like any of that. Eva presses the cup to her lips and whispers,
Tony, go downstairs while Mom's in the kitchen. Alright, I'm coming up, but if Mom catches us both, I'll get in trouble first, and I'll have every right to be mad at you, Tony. Who knows? Maybe you won't be getting an ice cream this weekend.
Yeah, Tony, you ever thought about that? You ever thought about how much ice cream you're not going to be getting? She smiles and walks upstairs. It's really hard to stay angry at her little brother. All over the stairs are slinkies of all colors. Tony is always playing with them on the stairs, racing them and setting them up like they're contestants. Rabbit Mo? Aw. a stitched-up teddy bear named Pig, and a shapeless stuffed owl Eva brought at an autumn fair. Whichever slinky wins spends the night in Tony's bed as a reward. Aw, that's so cute. But Tony usually carefully cleans up after himself every night and puts the slinkies back into their signed boxes. The mess he's left tonight is completely inexplicable. And Tony isn't on the stairs. The phone string is laced through the gap under the door at the top. This feels like a trap. Eva switches the light on. A twisted light fixture flashes on, illuminating the workshop door and the sign hung on it. Inscription: "Keep out, nosy." The words are written with an extremely beautiful script. Her mother's handwriting. A funny sketch of a three-headed dog guards the door. Like Cerberus. Eva painted that heckhound 2 years ago when she was into Greek mythology. Her mother was delighted that her daughter liked painting too, but it was Eva's last drawing. The door opens with ease, letting Eva into a short, narrow hallway. The mother was usually scolding kids for coming in without permission. Eva had a rare chance to see new and failed works. But it isn't the kind of rule Eva is tempted to break. The older she gets, the less she cares about her mom's paintings. It isn't the framed nightmares she wants to see, but the person who creates them. The paintings make a lasting impression on everyone. Some are enchanting, others are frightening. Mom mostly paints people, or to be more precise, their emotions. Eva prefers paintings of fairies, magic, and fantasies, or ordinary photographs. At least that kind of art doesn't make Eva wonder why an orphan who's just been taken in by a family is crying amid their adoptive parents' shared joy, or why the wife of an unlucky worker is sad when he wins a considerable sum in the lottery. Taking a breath, Eva heads deeper into the workshop. The darkness thickens. It feels dense and sticky, like sweet jelly. With every moment that passes, it feels more distinct on the skin, tangling in her hair and staining her blouse in patches. The light switch is right next to a painting depicting hunger. As she reaches for the switch, Eva thinks about touching the cold, sallow skin of the dying girl in the picture. Meanwhile, a self-portrait of her mother, who looks more like a shriveled-up corpse than herself, rears back as if she's about to sink her loose teeth into Eva's fingers. Tony, why did you have to come up here? Turn on the light. Why are you making me do that? The lamps flicker frantically, choked by the darkness. Dad promised to fix the wiring a month ago, but so far he's only opened the breaker panel.
Timing.
Small steps is still a step forward. Eva mumbles aloud, just to hear the reassuring sound of her own voice, and to attract Tony's attention. It's okay. It's okay. Daisy's here to protect us. Though her brother isn't naughty, sometimes he hides and waits for someone to find him, but only ever in his bedroom or Eva's.
Why in the world did he go to the workshop this late?
Eva begins to coil the string around her hand. The hope that it's just all a dumb prank or a silly childish game shields her from her darkest thoughts, and yet everything feels strange, wrong. It's nothing like what she's used to. She wants the game to end with a stupid cry of boo from around the corner.
Tony must have hidden behind some old canvases or the curtain. There's nowhere else to hide in here, so finding him will be a piece of cake.
Please don't make me look for him in the darkness. In the darkness, she trips over one of the paintings.
Damn it!
Ah! Daisy, help! Daisy, help! Overcoming her unease, Eva realizes she's angry at Tony, at Dad, at Mom, the house, that wretched workshop where she can't even take a single step without tripping over some nightmare. It's like the frames, the rolled-up canvases, and the stools are throwing themselves under her feet on purpose. Oh, come on, don't make me click on these. What's that? In the void, it depicts a broken woman who's lost her baby in childbirth. The heartbroken mother has sunk to the floor, wrapping her arms around her stomach. A pool of blood is spreading beneath her. Fun! Such works are especially successful at exhibits. Once her mother even took her art to a personal show in Indianapolis. Apparently, that's why she's been painting more and more. The sadness, pain, and tragedy of an ordinary person resonates the most with her audience. What's that? The old fisherman. Did I just hear the sound of a pier? Did I just hear the sound of a seagull as soon as I clicked on that? The old fisherman. It's a silhouette of an old man on a pier. If you look closely, you can see that he has neither fishing rods nor other gear, only a single knife. The water around the old man's feet, dispersing into the lake, has a crimson hue. Cool! The fish have fed his family for years. Maybe he's decided to return the favor. This is the sound of a puppy! The Nameless, an unfinished work. A happy woman is carrying a puppy wrapped in sheets. Suddenly, Eva realizes there's something wrong with the paintings. Her mother usually paints people's features and facial expressions in intricate detail to convey the most valuable aspects of her art, emotions. But now the paintings are a mess of paint instead of faces, as they've been ruined by smearing them with wet palms.
Tony, you better come out. This isn't funny. Both of us are gonna be punished if Mom...
The string, coiled up around Eva's hand, tightens.
That's better. Now to see where it leads.
This is totally a trap! Eva slowly paces through the workshop, feeling the pervasive blackness on her skin. Nameless, unfinished, and spoiled paintings stare at her from the corners, wall hooks and sloping shelves like abandoned children. Somehow, the disfigured faces are visible even in the gloom, as if Mom's added phosphorus to the paint. Seeing all those flickering silhouettes creeps Eva out. The fear crawls under her skin like hundreds of insects. It bites into her bones with its icy teeth and sucks out the heat. For a split second, a flash of lightning illuminates the room. Eva falls to the floor in shock. What she sees defies any logical explanation. The string, vibrating with tension, leads directly into a thick darkness clad in a gilded frame, like a pool of dark water swallowing the toy. Mario! The easel stands in the very center of the room, though Eva could swear it wasn't there a moment ago. It feels like the unfinished paintings on the shelves are closing in, the painted figures patiently staring at her. Daisy, don't leave me! Don't leave me, Daisy! Daisy! The string twitches and squirms in her grip, becoming harder to hold with every second. Eva struggles to breathe. Fear floods her body, tightening around her limbs and tangling her thoughts. She hesitantly raises her eyes and looks deep into the inky black painting. Instantly, a wave of cold air washes over her, and a spray of tiny droplets hit her face. A bitter, biting wind blows from the bottomless canvas, its gusts carrying an icy drizzle. The painting absorbs the light cast from the window. Eva stares in horror at her hand as the ill-fated string cuts into it. For a second she's tempted to get rid of it, to chop it off with a knife. But what if it's the last thread connecting her to Tony? She dares not approach the painting. Doubts bombard her as the sticky fear muddles her mind. Run? Stay? Save your game? Well, I'm here to get my baby brother back. Stay? Oh, wait, I forgot. My choices decide their fate. I'm sorry, Eva. Why is the achievement called Are You Sure? Eva gently pulls on the cup. On the other side of the painting, someone or something pulls the string frantically in response. A plea for help. Defenseless before an unknown threat. Despair saturates every movement. Once she promised to protect Tony from any danger, real or imaginary, and until tonight, she's never broken that vow. And Tony promised never to let anything happen to Eva either, once he grows up. Though she can't see or hear him, her thoughts reach out to him, to their happiest moments together. Warm memories of Tony's childhood pop into her head, shielding Eva from an impeding madness. Their eccentric father announcing that she's going to have a little brother. Eva thoroughly prepares for his appearance, arranging bouquets of wildflowers and cutting out cardboard stars and rabbits. Oh! Before going to bed, she dreams of how they'll rewatch the never-ending story together. The baby arriving, joyful and bright, as if from a fairy tale world. He laughs in his cradle, looking at his sister. He sticks his hand out and grabs Eva's, his tiny palm clutching her finger surprisingly tightly. You know, and there was also that time where I wished you away to the goblins and David Bowie showed up and took you and, you know, stuff happened. Playing together among loose snowdrifts, magically driven in on Christmas Eve, Tony tires quickly and constantly falls, his blue boots lifting up to the sky. He whimpers, but Eva picks him up and carries him on her shoulders. He laughs and hugs her with warm palms. And now, amid the nightmare that's desecrated their home, Eva silently begs Tony to grasp the string as tightly as he used to squeeze her finger, and never let go. "I'm gonna save you, baby brother, I'm gonna save you, I got you!" In return, she swears she'll give him 100 slinkies of every color of the rainbow, mountains of lollipops, clouds of cotton candy, which Mom forbids him from eating, anything to keep Tony's fingers tight. Groaning, Eva yanks on the string. The painting replies with another gust of icy wind and a splatter of drizzle that covers the workshop floor with dirty marks, as if it's not water, but paint. The droplets fly in all directions, staining the neighboring paintings and sketches. When a few splashes hit the canvas, the painting comes to life and begins to change. Oh no! The young and the old, men and women, already frozen in unimaginable poses, are losing their natural appearance. Their arms grow longer, new joints contort their fingers, their legs bend in the wrong direction, as if they're locusts, and the faces, what was a shapeless mess a moment ago, is now morphing into mutilated features. They look like careless sketches, distorting the emotions Eva's mother intended to depict, revealing them from another. Previously invisible angle. I don't want none of these paintings to turn around. Eva tugs the string hard. She puts everything into it, her desperation, love, and fury at the nightmare swallowing their home into its bubbling depth. Whatever lurks on the other side of that canvas is gonna get a punch in the face. It will not take her baby brother. She has always protected him, always saved him from nightmares, and she's not about to let anyone hurt him now. No matter what monsters, real or unreal, come crawling out, I will punch them in the jaw, unless they're hot.
I won't give him up. Never!
And her mother's collection of black pearls surrenders. The disfigured people in the paintings curiously observe what's happening, perhaps even delighting in her struggle. But Eva's afraid that if she looks back, she'll lose her mind. She takes one step forward, then another. The otherworldly wind gusts make her sway, dousing her in the pungent stench of paints and solvents. It knocks the wind out of her. Her heart almost stops, skipping a few beats before hammering against her chest once again. Her shirt is soaking wet, growing tight and uncomfortable. Sweat pours off her face and freezes on her cheeks.
Don't look. Turn away. Go away.
But Eva doesn't listen to her inner voice. Eva, I'm begging you. Please don't turn around to those things. Slowly, as if stuck in resin, she wades through the congealed air towards the painting in the gilded frame. The string in her fingers turns sticky and viscous, soaked in a glossy liquid. Pull? Oh, I'm pulling. Something heavy, attached to the opposite end, slips across the floor. Eva's mind wails and begs her to turn away and run, to shield herself with the door, but she just can't. The mysterious catch inches closer. This better not be a fish. This better not be a scary fish. Pick up? Her fingers touch something soft, wet. Strands of the disturbing substance clings to her hands. hair. It's heavily smeared with scarlet. A puddle of a stunningly rich red begins to spread across the floor. It's almost flaming in the dark. My mom and dad are going to be so mad about this mess. Eva collapses to her knees and wraps her arms around the decapitated head of the kindest and most innocent human she's ever known. That's it. All bets are off. You killed my brother, y'all's gonna die. Y'all, all y'all's. All y'all. I don't care if any of you have a redemption arc. All y'all's dead by me. The toy phone string hangs down, hooked onto the crevices of his vertebrae. It looks like someone has ripped the head off his body as easily as tearing the cap off of a ballpoint pen. Tony's eyes are as cloudy and empty as a fish's. His mouth is frozen in a death wail. Black blood oozes from his nostrils. It's unimaginable, cruel, unfair. No world can be so brutal as to let something like this happen. Not even in the stories. Not with Tony. Not with her baby brother.
No way.
She sways, feeling neither the cold nor the droplets drizzling out from the painting in the gilded frame.
Happening. It's hypnosis, hallucinations, blood, witchcraft, or someone's imagination.
Or a horror visual novel.
Authorial intent.
Eva suddenly realizes that a painting of her sitting in the middle of the studio and cradling Tony's head would look great in her mother's new collection. Tragedy and pain, fear and tears. People would be glad to buy it, showering the artist with praise. Hey, I guess this is a strong emotions, Mom. You better not do that. They would rapturously stare at Eva's lips, contorted with grief, her eyes wet with tears, her gnarled fingers frozen on Tony's mutilated flesh. They would admire her expression, warped with torment and tension so great that she felt like a weary old woman trapped in a child's body. The horror that the thought evokes is sobering.
I can't just sit back and wait for another terrible thing to happen so that I won't be able to change or forget it. I have to get away, run, save myself and our parents.
Many of the heroes that inspire Eva so much had tough challenges. It always seemed impossible to defeat hordes of creepy creatures, escape an insidious trap, or cheat death. But if you don't retreat or give up, if you make progress towards your goal, no one can. Wait, are you suddenly saying that I shouldn't have stayed? Is this all my fault? A flash of lightning floods the room, followed by a shuddering thunderclap. Reality is a lot different from fictional stories, no matter how good or full of morals they are. And the fear is different, too. It's impossible to hide from it by simply closing the book or turning the TV off. The paintings come to life. All of y'all are getting decked because I'm in a bad mood. Everybody line up. Line up, my fists are ready. The characters liberate themselves from the captivity of canvases and frames. The paint transforms into skin and flesh. The subjects look almost like people, all except for their distorted proportions, some becoming even more deformed. But the worst part is the unfinished paintings, with inhabitants still capable of moving. They crawl out, jump like toads, hobble forward on stick-straight legs. They lack heads and limbs. The sketches turn into awful wounds, bloodless and dry. Ew. Barely moving, Eva takes one last look at her brother's head. It's real.
I'm sorry, my little boy. I can't stay with you anymore. I'm so sorry.
It's alright, we'll find him in the Upside Down. It's okay. Eva drops the head and slowly gets to her feet. The painting in the gilded frame now reaches all the way to the ceiling. The wind and splashes of thick blackness has ceased sloshing out of it. Instead, brushstrokes start materializing amidst the inky, impenetrable abyss. crimson and gray, a little white, green, and buckets of red. Eva steps back. She knows exactly who will be in this painting.
Don't you dare. Whoever you are, don't you dare.
Don't you dare paint my agony. You better not. You better not. But the invisible artist is unstoppable. It relishes its power. To them, Eva and her unlucky brother's lives are more worthless than oil paint. It will finish, wipe the brush clean, and forget all about the miserable siblings. Just a little time, and a dozen heartbeats seem to have come by. The canvas revealed a small, headless, skinny body, tightened into dirty pajamas. Oh! It was tangled in the pieces of the telephone strings, whereas the cut traces were spread all over the fabric. Is this my fault? Dead Tony in the middle of the workshop. But he isn't centered. It's missing a detail. Next to him, there's just enough space for one 14-year-old girl. Maybe she'll be mourning. Maybe she'll be a bloated corpse, unable to escape the workshop alive. The instant the last stroke dries, the disfigured bodies turn to Eva. She can't see their faces or eyes, but she knows they're looking for her. Looking at her. The bodies... Let me just get my cursor ready, because I don't know if they're QuickTime events. Maybe I should save, too? The bodies lurch forward, to her, to bury her forever in a coffin of canvases and paints. Eva shrieks so loudly that her cries should wake not only her parents, but their neighbors as well, but the house only answers in silence. The girl rushes to the workshop door, but it's jammed shut, and the handle won't budge. Push down... Wait, what's that? Oh. I don't like that sound! Shadows slither closer. They don't make a sound, but from her periphery, Eva can see a revolting crowd of revived characters. They're in no rush. They know Eva has nowhere to run. Now it's their home, their exhibit, and sooner or later their magnum opus will be complete. Put harder, push down the door harder! The door surrenders and slams into the wall behind it. See you later, fellas! Eva flies downstairs and pauses in the hall, sucking in a deep breath. The world in her eyes ripples and fades away, as if distorted by television static. Can we go back to the creepy television host?
Dad! Daddy!
Dad, this is not a bit! The scream sinks into the emptiness of the house, like a stone falling into a deep well. No echo, no response, not even a ripple. Only a deathly silence.
Help me, Dad!
The walls devour every word.
Dad's sleeping too deep. Otherwise, he'd definitely hear me. And Mom, she must have fallen asleep by the coffee pot.
Eva clenched her fists helplessly. There's no time, but nothing is enough to wake her parents. And the thought of being embraced by the very arms that painted all those horrors makes her stomach churn. Eva suspects her mother is gifted with some kind of supernatural power, the kind that leads people to unknown paths, to where nightmares live, to where only prophets and ancient witches dare tread. Maybe her mom is a witch. An hour earlier, she would have never believed it, but after what she'd witnessed in the workshop, seeking inspiration, her mother has found something forbidden and let it loose. Eva can't convince herself it was an accident.
Mom must be in the kitchen. Otherwise, I would have already run into her here or in the workshop. I'll have to wake her up first, and then together we can...
You better get back in there! Get back in there! Something clatters on the stairs. I got my mouse ready! Sensing their prey escaping, the human-like beasts speed up. The first is crawling downstairs, leaning against the wall with hacked-off limbs. Hey! One glimpse of that monstrosity is enough to forget any exhaustion, panting, or headache. Ah! Eva rushes towards her parents' bedroom. In the dimness, she trips and all but smashes her nose. But the pain of falling is the least of her concerns. Just like she did after watching horror movies or creepy cartoons as a child, she rushes through the dark hall into her parents' room. Nowhere in the world is safer than their bed. Laughing, her father would build a cozy pillow fort where she could hide from any ghosts or critters. Dad was always there for them, helping as much as he could until work swallowed him whole. Eva and Ashley wanted a treehouse. Dad never asked why. He just needed to know what they wanted it to look like and where to bring the boards. The kids wanted to go on a trip to the farm by the lake. He helped them pack, brought them snacks, and reminded them to stay away from the water. He even gave Brian a homemade baseball bat. Aw, homemade baseball bat. And a knowing wink. Aw, I really love your optimism, Eva. Dad's never lied to her or let her down. She's always been able to count on him.
Somewhere. He's strong. He'll protect me. He'll fight them off.
Or he'll pack up everything and get in the car. We're not fighting this thing. Let's get out of here. How doesn't matter. She just wants to snuggle up to someone close, warm, alive, someone without that otherworldly stench.
Daddy? He must be somewhere here. Even if Mom's still sitting in the kitchen, he's definitely catching Z's now because he gets up for work at 5 a.m. Dad? Where are you?
Are we already in the other world? Eva grabs the bed and pulls herself up. But in her haste, she's forgotten that the workshop is not the only place her mother hangs her paintings. The bedroom is decorated with luxurious canvases, some Central European weirdo once ordered and even partially paid for. As a kid, when Eva was still slightly interested in art, she used to love sitting in her dad's armchair and gaze at that painting. In it, an aristocratic family competing in the sophistication of their wigs and brightness of their makeup are gathered around a long table ready to eat. Well, they're supposed to anyway, but Mom viewed their feast a little differently. There's a person on their dinner table, isn't there? They're cutting them like a birthday cake in the game mouth-washing. The men and women sit gloomily at an empty table. A huge plate lies before them, devoid of anything but a handful of wheat spattered with blood. The big picture window in the background reveals a view of scorched fields, the blackened remains of burnt houses, and the peasants' broken mills. Message? Eva didn't really know what the client was looking for, but he had certainly been unhappy with the way her mother had depicted his family. That's why the picture has even more insulting details now, like a servant wielding a log to fight off a pair of fat rats. Compared to her mother's other works, Eva liked this one. But today... Oh, come on! Dangling out of the canvas are her father's legs! Oh no! Floundering in a pathetic attempt to escape captivity. Lunging forward, Eva grabs her father's shins, but that split second of hesitation is just enough for the painting to completely swallow the strong man. The painting turns hazy, then mutates. Mario! We gotta get Luigi in here in his vacuum! Oh no! Now, the aristocrat's faces shine with delight. Daddy? On the table, nauseously seared and shrouded in a baked crust, lies Eva's father, who fits perfectly on the enormous plate. Mom! The head of the family is sharpening a knife, and the guests leer at their cannibalistic feast, clutching exquisite forks with plump fingers. Even the rats wait under the table, hoping to grab a scrap or two. The air is awash with the sickening odor of paint, solvent, barbecue. Dad, you smell great! Eva grimaces in terror. She wants to howl, groan, or call for help, but she can only spit out unintelligible sounds, like a sheep trying to bleat after its throat is slashed open. Everything precious to her has disappeared into a nightmare. You know, maybe we shouldn't have watched that cursed tape. Just a thought. Her brother's laugh, weekend walks with Mom and Dad, the comfortable home her parents devoted years to creating. The paintings have taken all that away. But what's happened to them? What bloody backwoods has her mother's talent led her to? After all, she painted them. She put a piece of her soul into each of them, as she liked telling her audience at exhibitions.
What kind of soul does she really have?
Is she really my mom? Do I have such a power? The very idea hurts. Worse yet, Eva doesn't even want to see her mother anymore. She can't bring herself to run to the kitchen and tell her what's happened. It makes no sense. Her mother made her choice, and that choice killed Dad and Tony. And if Eva doesn't escape and tell someone, she'll be next. She has to. Even if people think she's crazy, she doesn't care.
If Mom wants to live in a world of madness and cruelty, there's no saving her. You chose the company of your paintings. You love them harder than your own kids. So stay with them. Forever.
I'm out of here. I'm gonna pack up my Barbie dolls and my Goosebumps books, and I'm leaving.
To the front door, now!
The keys are always hanging on the decorative key holder her father made at work. It's an exact replica of their house, made with love and attention to every detail. Aww. But now, the keys are nowhere to be found. Dang it! They were not on the dressing room shelves, the phone table, or under the rug. Desperate, Eva kicks the door, the last barrier between life and death. The door feels like a solid brick wall. Dad put so much time and effort into making it strong and sturdy to protect his family from anything outside. He couldn't have imagined that the real danger would come from within. Now that very same door is sealing Eva inside. A house of nightmares.
Budge! No! Am I never gonna get out of here?
She looks around, helplessly searching for another escape route. Suddenly, her gaze lands on the most useless thing in their house. The dog door. Eva has always dreamed of having as many pets as possible, but since her parrot's death and all the tears she shed for him, her parents have been afraid to bring new pets home. But last year, after Eva ranked among the top 5 students in her class, instead of giving her a gift, her father cut out this pet door, a hint that soon...
I can squeeze through. Tony always gets in and out easily when he's pretending to be a dog. If he can do it, I can too.
I sure hope you can. Eva drops to her knees and crawls to the door. It's hard to squeeze her whole body in, so she puts her right hand through and pushes with her legs.
Yes, just a bit farther now.
I don't know if you make it out of here, Eva. The smell of rain-soaked soil and pavement hit her nose. The rain relentlessly lashes against the porch and the roof of the car parked by the garage, gathering in murky torrents in the gutters. The air feels damp and clean, no trace of the workshop's suffocating stench. Even the night seems surprisingly bright. Paintings and painted monsters have no place outside. If they dare follow her, surely the rain will finish them off, dissolving them and smashing them against the pavement. Hopefully.
Head through. Push again.
You can do it, Eva! You can do it, I believe in you! I led you astray before, but I believe you can do it now! She's no more than a foot away from salvation when she feels a vile touch. Aw, man! Something wet, sticky and hot wraps around her left wrist. The air fills with the suffocating smell of paint and solvent, but they're quickly blotted out by the reek of a large, sweaty body. Oh, come on! The monster's grasp holds Eva firmly in place, not permitting her to move so much as an inch forward. She clings to the half-open dog door and spins around. Listen, buddy! I've had it up to here with the likes of all of you! In the brightness of a streetlight, she faces a formless darkness. Before her eyes, the darkness splinters into pieces. She'd rather go blind than see this nightmare come to life. The hallway resembles a black hole, hollowed out by a massive larva. Inside, something heavy wheezes and trudges closer until, finally, Eva discerns the horrifying figure. Is it my mom? Go away! A gelatinous, fat body trembles in the darkness. It's hard to guess what that creature used to be. Now it's hideously swollen. The chef's apron covering its stomach is all but bursting. Gnarled arms sprout from the pallid flesh on its back. Like a toad, the bottomless mouth spills out a long tongue, which coils around Eva's wrists. Ew! Put that back. Just have that back, please. Letting out a strangled sob, Eva tries to free her hand. Listen, I'm trying to read. I'm gonna need you to chill. But the tongue won't let go. It bites into her skin, sucking on it with a horrible gnawing sound. The fat monster shudders and drools lustfully. No, I taste terrible.
Get your hands off me, fiend!
I would have used more colorful words than fiend, but I appreciate. I like your optimism, Eva. Eva yanks her hand again. For a moment, it seems like the monster's grip is loosened. Her muscles ache from the strain, and her fingers hurt, but she keeps fighting. Attention, get... What? Hold... Wait, what? Wait, what? What are we doing? Attention, get... What? Aw, man. You just said get ready. You didn't tell me we were gonna button press this. Just as long as you don't... Did we do it?
Nope.
Crap! We didn't do it! Just as the monster's tongue seems like it's about to slip away, it clamps onto her skin even harder. Her fingers swell and rapidly turn red. Choked with horror, Eva can resist no longer. I'm sorry, Eva. I didn't know what they were gonna throw at me. I'm sorry. As she gets gobbled up. Its tongue turns as tight and unbreakable as a steel rope. The beast snaps its head back in a movement so powerful that she feels her shoulder blades crack. I'm sorry! Pain penetrates every joint. I'm sorry, Eva. Eva skids across the floor, weakening and losing her will to fight. And now everything's all quiet. Mom! The dog flap is well beyond her reach. Escape is impossible. The world falls away into the beast's gurgling maw, and Eva drops in right after it. Her death cry echoes around the house, the last noise she'll ever make. Oh! Hey! What? Oh! Art demands sacrifice. You killed Eva. My heart is broken into a million pieces. I mean, I knew my choices would lead to life and death for these characters. Where's that TV host? I am going to beat him. I'm going to mess up his finely manicured hair. Well, then again, we did watch the cursed tape, so I guess that's on us. What? No. That arcade man. That arcade man, he put us up to this. I will not stand for this. Alright, what if I run? What if I go back? Because I think I may be dooming my poor baby brother. What if I run? What if I go back and run? The longer Eva stares into the picture's black bubbling deepness, where the cup and string are sticking out like a fishing line with a hook at the end, the more it all looks like a wicked trap. Why didn't I notice that? Well, it was because I was determined to save my baby brother. Her words feel like nails being hammered into the darkness, each one a betrayal. They tear her soul apart, burn her throat, tongue, and lips, but still, she's uttered them. The fear, sharpened by common sense, is stronger than her love for her brother. Together, they're defenseless against the madness seeping through the workshop.
I'll get our parents, Tony. Stay quiet. And don't you dare come out if you're hiding in here.
Hands trembling, Eva unwinds the string and throws it away, abandoning the phone. Now she knows her brother truly went to the workshop instead of hiding in his room. He's an obedient boy and would never enter the workshop without Mom's permission. Now why did he even go in there? She shouldn't have either. She's just an older sister, a naive dreamer, not an exorcist capable of forcing such evil to retreat. She has no doubt this evil has already taken root in the house. Although I think that Eva would be the most capable to do so. Eva steps back. She doesn't want to turn her back to the picture. After all, what if a mysterious kidnapper on the other side is just waiting to pounce, to seize her arm or leg and drag her away? From the corner of her eye, she glances at the other pictures that surround her. Being dragged into any of them would be an absolute nightmare. She's even less eager to guess what awaits her inside the black one. Perhaps her mother would like to paint such a scene, a naive child getting trapped. She's been deceived. The evil exploited her greatest weakness, her love for her baby brother, her desire to protect him. That's exactly what happened, isn't it? That's exactly what happened! And now she's face to face with unimaginable danger, shocked, weak, shivering with fear, like a butterfly trapped in a jar. Its needle and label already prepared for it.
If Mom painted emotions like this, she'd have even more fame and fans. But this is hopeless. I'm alive, not some nasty painting. And I can leave this place whenever I want.
Yes, you can, which is what you should be doing right now. A movement in her periphery catches her attention. Did the main character of the hero just move? You better not. If there's one thing I hate, it's when things move that shouldn't be moving. It's one of the few works Mom has been criticized for. An old man in a washed-out military uniform is confined to a wheelchair. A bedpan full of fetid substance sits on the floor next to him. No one is there to clean it up. No one is there to give him a glass of water or wash his greasy skin. He's alone, depressed and sick. The shadows of his dead friends and slaughtered enemies loom in the window. Rage, depression, and insanity entwine in him, finding no way out. Metal, brutal. The old man looks out the window. Eva remembers his predatory profile, but nah. Sir, I specifically asked for the opposite of you moving. But now, the shapeless mess that was once his face is turned towards her. Her skin crawls under a stare, like every other stare cutting through the darkness of the workshop. You better stay right there, sir. The painting's inhabitants are watching her, and many are no longer what they were a minute ago.
What woke them? What if they realized they're missing their prey and decided to reveal their true appearance? Or did those oily droplets from the black painting mutilate everything Mom created? That disgusting goop breathed life into them.
The young and the old, men and women, already frozen in unimaginable poses, are losing their natural appearance. Their arms grow longer. New joints contort their fingers. Their legs bend in the wrong direction, as if they're locusts, and the faces are contorted, unrecognizable. And I began to panic. The crowd of ugly shadows braces as if to pounce on her. Eva can't make them all out, only the veterans stuck in her head, but that just makes it scarier. In a moment, they'll be unleashed from their canvas crypts. The paint is transforming into blood, bones, flesh, but it stinks in there. The girl rushes to the workshop door, but it's jammed shut, and the handle won't budge. Well, do it faster! Faster! She hears a canvas burst behind her. Its frame cracking audibly. The painting's inhabitants have been set free. Just push them back into the paintings. They don't make a sound, but from her periphery, Eva can see a revolting crowd of revived characters heading towards her. They're in a rush. They know Eva has nowhere to run. Now it's their home. Hey, at least I'm not holding the severed head of my brother this time. This was really fun, guys, but I really gotta split. Something crashes to the floor with a heavy clang. It crunches and cracks rustedly. The noises getting closer and closer. Let's go. The door surrenders and slams into the wall behind it. Eva rushes through and slams it shut behind her. Wheelchair man, what is your beef with me? Just for a moment, she feels safe from the nightmare bubbling up in the workshop, as though it's been locked in the other world. Then the door bursts open behind her. A crooked shadow falls on the wall like a stroke of black paint and begins gradually taking shape. It's even scarier than the one casting the shadow. Let's get out of here! The stairs at the end of the hall are steep enough to easily fall and smash your head, but Eva races downstairs, heedless of how dangerous it is. The shadow follows her, slowly. Inevitably. You're lucky I don't have a flashlight. A suffocating stench overwhelms her. Dirty skin, unwashed clothes, sour urine. Paint, solvent. It clogs her nose, stings her eyes. Eva wipes away her tears, barely managing to make it safely down the stairs. She only stops when she reaches the hall. She can hardly catch her breath. That's how fast her heart is racing.
Daddy!
You better not be getting eaten inside of a painting or else I'm gonna be really mad. Her scream sinks into the emptiness of the house, like a stone falling into a deep well. No echo, no response, not even a ripple. Only a deathly silence.
Help me, Dad!
Eva suddenly realizes that nobody really knows what kind of hidden paths a rare talent can tread down. It's no coincidence that her mother and her paintings grow more and more dismal every year. But Eva still holds out hope that it isn't intentional. Her mother loves her family, loves her children. Eva wants to believe that, but she's still scared of running into the woman who started it all.
Mom must be in the kitchen. Otherwise, I would have already run into her here or in the workshop. I'll have to wake her up first, and then together we can...
Come on, wheelchair man! A continuous squeak sounds on the stairs. The squeak of a huge gear that hasn't been oiled for a long time and is covered with a rusty crust. Did he just bonsai himself down the stairs? It's followed by a heavy knock. Listen, sir, listen, I will get you some help. I just need to go out for some fresh air, sir. Sir, please. The old man is approaching from the workshop, clinging onto the railing. The veteran is even uglier outside the painting. Like wax, his flesh is melted and poured down his back, tethering him to his wheelchair. Like a massive snail, he drags his mutilated body down the stairs. One glimpse of that monstrosity is enough to forget any exhaustion, panting, or headache. Eva rushes towards her parents' bedroom. In the dimness, she trips over the threshold and all but smashes her nose. Ow! But the pain of the fall hardly phases her. Just like she did after watching horror movies or creepy cartoons as a child, she rushes through the dark hall into her parents' room. Nowhere was safer than their bed. Alright, so this is different. We're not pulling our dad's legs out of the painting, so great, my choice has got both her relatives killed. The client hadn't approved of the way her mother had depicted his gracious relatives, so he refused to pay the full price. So he pays half price and makes us keep it. Eva used to like that painting compared to Mom's other works, but today there was something wrong with it. The aristocrats sitting sadly at the dinner table are examining not their empty bronze plate, but the bed. As though their main course lies outside the confines of their world. Y'all are not going to be munching on my papa. Their eyes are hungry, probably imagining that whatever it is will look beautiful, stuffed with onions, wild garlic, and wild garlic in the center of their table. Listen. I'll run down to Arby's and I will throw some roast beef into the painting. But for right now, we gotta get going. Listen, you painting folks. I told y'all that I don't like it when stuff moves. Will y'all stop looking at me? The thought chills Eva's blood. If her dad were here, they'd definitely drag him in. Not today, losers! They're went a crackle. Ah, you! Don't do that! The servant, hold on a second. Actually, what I should probably do is save my game. I should probably do that. You know, I only just now realized that I had the brightness down so low. Let's turn that up a little bit. Turn that up a smidge. Ah, now I can see the nightmares a whole lot clearer. Ah! The servant, hunting for a pair of brash rats, suddenly twists and steps forward. His traits change. His arms get longer, his shoulders wider, his mouth gapes, opening up to a horrible size. I'm gonna need you to stay right over there, please. He's leering at Eva. The other guests stare at her as well. Obviously, they don't care what it is on their plate. They only care about satisfying the starvation their artist has rewarded them with. No, thank you. Hey, it's not my fault that my mom didn't paint y'alls with food. Shrieking, Eva races back to the hallway. Luckily, the old man is still rattling down the stairs, dragging his heavy chair with him. This would make probably the most terrifying movie I've ever seen in my life. The save button? Kitchen. Closet leading to the garage. Closet leading to the garage. Yeah, I'm gonna follow Dad. Dad, help! The storeroom communicated with the garage. The roller shutters had got jammed the previous winter, so her dad had been parking the car on the driveway near the house. But there was still an emergency generator inside the garage.
That must be where Dad went. He must have gone to start the generator when the power went out.
Really? That thought even made Eva smile. It's almost ironic that faulty wiring will save her father's life. After all, every time the electricity turns off, he usually curses the incompetent electricians and swears he'll kick a few booty cheeks. And now he must have once again dragged himself out of his warm bed and into the cold garage, and he doesn't hear all this racket? Eva can only imagine how thrilled he'd be when he realizes what saved him from the creatures lurking in the painting above his bed. Eva heads to the storeroom. Dad can protect her from any kind of monster. He'll take an axe or a crowbar off his tool rack, and then the painted critters won't be so scary. Aww. She only regrets that there are no weapons in the house, but on the other hand, Eva's father is skillful enough to turn all kinds of tools into makeshift weapons, and that's bad news for anything that tries to harm his wife and kids. A surge of confidence rushes back. She finally knows what she needs to do to survive. All she has to do is reach the garage and tell Dad about the workshop and the monsters. He'll believe her. She's sure of it. Together they'll find Tony and Mom and get out of this dreadful house, and maybe her mom could stop painting like forever. The breezeway is always half empty, only the washing machine is squeezed into a corner, and her father's old uniform is collecting dust on a coat hanger. She's not even halfway through the room when the light suddenly flashes on. The house freezes and falls silent. Then a mechanical growl emanates from the garage. She's always imagined rusty parts rolling around inside the generator, making it wheeze and cough like an old man, but once Eva's father starts it, the sound always changes, becoming steady. The fact that her father keeps reviving the ancient machine again and again is nothing short of a miracle. Eva's mother calls it man's triumph over both technology and common sense, urging him to simply buy a new one. But her husband only proudly declares that he hasn't squeezed the last drop of oil out of the old thing yet.
He started the generator.
She wants to scream for joy, as if it could wake the entire house from this nightmare.
Daddy, it's me! Wait, I'm coming down to you now.
No reply, but the generator is probably just drowning everything else out in the garage. I don't trust this one bit. Beaming, Eva runs downstairs and looks around, searching for her father. But her glimmer of hope... what? But her glimmer of hope, barely glowing in the boundless darkness, fades fast. The house has become a hunting ground. It's naive to think that a mere human, even one with a crowbar or an axe, stands a chance against the creatures that have escaped these horrid paintings. Is there a painting in here? Eva suddenly feels like a foolish, overconfident girl. No one is going to wait for her to find Mom, Dad, or Tony. The monsters will come and take everything she loves. And they'll take her too, defenseless, terrified, cornered, because in the end, All Eva has is her fantasies.
Dad? How is that possible?
Wait, what? What? The generator trembles and coughs, choking on gasoline. Her father is gripping the thick handle with all his might, but his head, another arm. Mom! Now it's clear why Dad didn't call back or warn her of the danger. The garage reeks of blood. Pain saturated the air. Thick enough to feel on her skin, charcoal black darkness smears the walls, collects on the corners, and sways under the ceiling. Who puts a painting in a garage? Another trap, summoned by her mother's brush from some unknown abyss, has snapped shut. Eva can only stare, unable to believe that her father crafted the very frame that now holds his undoing. The painting, another darn painting they can't hide from. Who puts a painting in a garage? This one has never been for sale. Her parents love it because it reminds them of their family story. In it, a younger version of her parents are hugging, standing in the middle of a furniture workshop Dad's just bought and has now been toiling away in for 15 years. Externally, the picture is unchanged. At least there's nothing frightening about it. But it's still dragging her father into its depths, and he's losing the strength to fight it fast. Daddy!
Hold on, Dad! I won't let go!
Eva clings to her father's arm and pulls so hard that it all but breaks her fingers. Together they manage to escape the painting's monstrous grasp and drop to the floor. Oh! Well, you're not going to be needing that arm no more, Dad. Dad slowly gets to his knees, exhausted. His eyes are bulging and red, watering from fear and unbearable pain. He tries to speak, but can't. Something has turned his jaw into a mess of bones, teeth, and flesh. Eee! And there's a hole ripped into his right cheek. Dad? Dad, you good? Dad, you good? You good? He's fine. He's fine. He can only mumble. His eyes roll like he might faint any second. Even making a clipped gesture towards the door costs him unbearable pain. His breath comes in wet, sobbing gasps. No human ought to make such sounds or endure such agony. Yet, heedless of his injuries, all he wants is to save Eva's life, so he forces the word out again, clearer this time, though his body is trembling from the strain and agony. Don't gotta tell me twice, Dad, bye! Eva timidly pulls his hand, but Dad pushes her away, as if afraid to infect her with his pain and despair. He can neither say nor do anything. His face softens, and he collapses unconscious. At least the painting didn't get you. At that very moment, the generator sputters one last time and goes silent, leaving the garage at the mercy of the monsters. Oh, man. Listen, I'm getting real sick of all of you. And then the picture changes. Suddenly, her painted parents are surrounded by rusty cutting and milling machines, racks of blanks, and other junk. Creepy hooks hang from the beams. Oh, come on! Oh, come on! One, like a predatory snake, dives out to attack her lifeless father. Rude! The hook sinks into his flesh with a sickening sound and twists deeper. It latches onto his ribs and, cracking them, drags its prey across the floor. Eva rushes out of the garage. Gosh! Darn it! On shaking legs, Eva runs out to the hall and freezes on the spot, completely powerless. She can't even scream or cry, only observe the madness conquering the house. Listen, you, and you, this place better be spotless when my mom comes back. Dripping all over the floor. The old man's head is sticking out around the corner next to the stairs, but he isn't looking at Eva. His eyes are glued to the window. On the other side of the glass, the living shadows from the wicked painting, the hero, are swaying. Oh, I don't want to see those guys. The details are blurred, but Eva imagines their military uniforms are dirty and torn, exposing fragments of bone and burnt flesh, fly larvae clinging to their forever still eyes. and muddy water pours out of their distorted mouths. Eee. She can't wait any longer. In a moment, the man will notice, try to drag her into his painting, finding salvation from his eternal loneliness. Oh, he just wants a friend. Why don't we bring him some of those cats? Eva dashes to the front door, not looking back. Oh, the key is there. The keys are hanging on a decorative key holder her father made at work. It's an exact replica of their house, crafted with love and attention of every detail. The key is right in its place.
There it is.
Get. It takes a second for Eva to notice that someone has added another key to the keyring, absolutely unfamiliar and outlandishly shaped, but she doesn't waste time thinking about it. Her hands convulsing, Eva slides the key into the keyhole. The creaks and rumbles behind her are getting closer. The key turns with ease, almost as if the door is opening by itself. There better not be something out here. Eva hastily steps into the rain, the wind, the sky, freedom. But then, something hot, sticky, and rough seizes her left wrist. Ah! Eva rushes forward, but the thing's grip doesn't weaken. The huge beast, shifting through the darkness, is not about to let her leave. Fresh air blows in Eva's face, sweeping away the stench of the cursed house. Whimpering, she looks back. Listen, you! A loose, greasy mass lies in the middle of the hallway. What painting did you come from? The blackness covers the monster's wet skin like soot. The monster is clutching its cheeks and stretching them apart, turning its maw into a salivating abyss. I hope it means its face. Its limbs stick out from its back at horrifying angles. Ew. An undigested crimson head is visible in the depths of the beast's bottomless throat. Whose is that? Eva doesn't want to know. It better not be my brother's, or I'm gonna come back in this house and I'm gonna pummel ya. Ah! Now that I turned the brightness up, it looks even scarier! Mesmerized, she stares at the revolting tongue wrapped around her wrist, slowly dragging her back to its body. Hit with keys? Yeah, hit it with the keys. Eva grabs the sharp keys and holds them like a knife in her hand. In her fists. Yeah! Crossing that invisible line where the fear of death consumes reason, where the prey, for a fleeting moment, becomes more dangerous than the predator, Eva looks the hideous monster right in its eyes. Then she raises her hand and, slicing through the air, drives the keys down onto its tongue. Yeah! Yeah, I probably would have used more colorful language, but yeah! The monster shakes and shrieks in pain. Scenes from countless movies pop into her mind. It's never enough to simply drive a weapon into the enemy. You need to cut it, tear it apart, inflict awful wounds. Yeah, get 'em! Eva hammers the keys into the disgusting thing and yanks them back out. The supple flesh bursts, showering her in crimson slime. Ew! The maimed tongue falls to the floor, leaving a wet trail in its wake. It's sucked back into the massive monster's mouth. Tell your friends! Tell your friends! Eva rushes to the door. The rain wraps her like a rustling... It's getting all staticky like we're watching a TV thing. Like a rustling blanket, absorbing her. There's nothing around but a fluttering of droplets and a strange crackling sound. Cool! Eva suddenly realizes she's back sitting in the shed. All she sees is a TV screen, bubbling with static noise. We do it? We do it! We did it! Sorry I got everybody killed last time, Eva. Oh. The weird key. He saved Eva. And we got a weird key. So I wonder, if you don't get everyone killed, do you get more of a weird key? Woo! Well, that was that was actually pretty good. Now me, I'm not I don't like the scary. I'm a scaredy cat, but I do love a good mystery. I do love a good story, and this is really good. This was surprisingly really fun. So it seems that we're in some kind of like Tales from the Crypt TV cursed VHS program or something, and it seems like every character is going to have to face their worst fears. And the art, like when they said hand painted, I wonder if those paintings really were hand painted or maybe digitally painted, but still, all those creepy paintings looked amazing, and this like live 2D-ish animation is really it's like both cool and like really unsettling and uncanny. I kind of like it. So there's a lot of other choices I could have made, like what if I would have gotten the Slinky? What if I would have gotten a higher score on not legally distinct Pac-Man? What would happen if I didn't choose to stab the monster with the keys? There's so many branches, there's so many choices. And if you would like to try this game for yourself, it is available on Steam, and there will be a link in the description. I don't know if I will come back to this game for my regular channel, but I am really intrigued by this story. I genuinely really like this, and I usually don't like scary stories. And of course, if you would like to watch me play more amazing visual novels, feel free to peruse around my channel. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or interact in any way that's comfortable for you, because that really helps out my channel. It helps it grow big and strong, and brings us closer to 100,000 subscribers. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.